military industrial complex. They're running sweatshops overseas. They're funding juntas and death squads. You know, they're signing, like Barack Obama signing off on drone bombing. So seeking equality with white people further puts the world's capacity to sustain life at risk. And even Dr. King said towards the end of his life, I feel like I'm integrating my people into a burning house, because he realized that his lifelong pursuit of equality with the oppressor makes you equal to your oppressor. So I think first, change the language. Secondly, become more radical. Actually really understand leftist is not just using proper pronouns. Leftist is not just having sympathy for victims of American imperialism. Left is not just voting Democrat. Left means that you have an in-depth radical analysis, and your language informs your thinking and thus directs your actions. So start using those terms and start using the more clinically and historically and culturally accurate terms for these phenomena.
Before we wrap up, can you just tell us again, where can people find you, and where can people watch your show and your previous work?
Oh, you can find me live at Q4 Radio, q4.org, broadcasting live. And it's also, I open the phones for calls. It's just a weekly radio broadcast. You can find archives of the show at diallokenyatta.com. They're right there on the homepage. Just scroll down and you can find archives. And also you can find, you can't find the full show on YouTube, but you can find extended segments of the show on YouTube. There's well over 100 shows uploaded to YouTube, and you can at Diallo Kenyatta, Twitter, Instagram, across social media, just at Diallo Kenyatta, or search the hashtag Bro Diallo, which is BRODIALLO, and then you can find some of my essays and writings and public talks. And in fact, I'm giving a talk in a couple of weeks on Black youth violence and gang violence in Chicago. So, you can just follow me across the sponsor.
Lights are hot, and we are all the way live.
Make it hot.
Yes, Q4 Radio, Politics and Bullshit.
Politics and Bullshit.
Episode number 5. Straight out of Chi-Town.
We're staying consistent.
Yes. We on it. We want it.
And we want it.
Q4, and people showing the love.
In the past 1 or 2 hours, we had about 11 new followers on Instagram.
Damn. And you ain't even putting nothing up on Instagram.
Not really, but the streets.
You're not even gramming. The streets is talking.
And slowly and surely, we are building an underground audience of critical thinkers who are with that bullshit from time to time.
No, I thought we were trying to gather up all the alphas.
That.
You keep switching mission.
First and
you
foremost,
keep changing mission, man.
First of all, I would like to, it's the first of the month, right?
Welfare.
Checks are getting cut today. We're getting money. Our money's being taken at the same time, but we got paid. But I want to shout out the alpha males of the alpha kingdom of this great country. All the high value alpha males out here raising the standards for the Black community, making sure that our queens are stepping up to the table and providing material benefits to the partnership, to the relationship.
Bring something to the table.
Yeah, keeping our community strong.
All right. Bring something to the table.
I appreciate that, man.
Some weirdos out there. But that's a good lead in. They show some love to Insta.
They have some wild tweets. I give them that. The tweets are wild.
I don't hear so much bring to the table talk anymore. Is that passe?
Oh yeah. We're still talking about it. We are still talking about making sure that women are equally bringing value to the table of this relationship.
You're being instructed by the politician. That's the intern logo. No, I'm telling you, I'm trying to fix it.
Okay.
I'm trying to fix the problem she created. Maybe if
I didn't create this. I didn't create the logo.
No, that's a temporary logo. Is that better?
Yeah, you know, rock with it. They
All
can
right.
see enough of my face.
Good. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
Yeah, we're out here making Black families, Black communities stronger. I do want to shout out one of our listeners, Sugar Booger, because she's always sharing our streams and our advertisement. But she does that for a lot of independent Black media.
Oh,
I've seen
they
her
just
do it.
us. Oh,
It's not just us.
She for the revolutionary
right,
street.
but she
ain't loyal. I thought she was just doing that for us. Sugar Booger for the revolutionary street. I thought that was something.
Ain't loyal.
I thought that was something unique to our, because I saw her sharing and helping to promote and get our names out there.
Yeah, she was helping us. She was helping us.
She
was.
doing that for
She was
all
helping
revolutionary underground independent content.
The remix show, other independent Black media.
I'm on
She
the
is.
remix show. That's good.
Yeah, so there you go. But she's always promoting us, and we appreciate her.
Not just us. We out.
Come on, girl.
She
Why
has
are
to
you
be-
fronting?
She
Let me
has to
show
be
you something.
exclusive.
That's one of the most ridiculous songs I've ever heard.
Which one?
The Chris Brown, These Hoes Ain't Loyal.
Oh, I love that song.
The beat is bopping. I'm gonna give it the beat.
When a rich
The
man
lyrics
wants
are-
you, it's because you ain't rich.
You can't do nothing for you. This is so.
Has that ever happened to you? You ever had a girl snatch?
We've all had girls snatch.
I had a girl
snatch from us.
By
Anybody?
rich. That happened to me, so I relate to that song. So,
Right. So anybody telling you different are lying. Every brother has gotten a woman snatched.
my
by
best
another
friend snatched my girl.
One of my best friends snatched my girl.
And I'm such a simp. I'm still friends with dude. Rip.
How- does it ever
I
come
should
back?
tell his wife. I just met his new wife a year ago. I should have told her. I didn't think about it. But Rip the Crip.
When you talk to him, do you feel triggered? Do you
Well,
remember?
it was high school.
the treachery?
But still, it was high school, but still. And this sister had just moved to Kansas City from Louisiana. She was the hottest girl in the street, and she chose me. I didn't even try to holler.
True player for real.
She was a Catholic school girl, right?
Uh-oh.
I was in Catholic school.
They like to party.
And she's like, hey,
Hey, they
you know,
fast.
right. And so Louisiana sister,
Yeah.
not that I regret, because I'm happy where I am.
Yeah, you
where
happy.
I landed.
Please,
I'm just saying.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you say that, brother.
But-
let me preface with a disclaimer. Brother Diallo is happy where he's
I
at.
had a sister where I'm when a girl moves to a new town and starts a new school,
yeah.
she don't know the hierarchy. She
She
don't
don't.
know who. So,
And everybody's trying to get at her.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? She's fresh meat.
Right. Us neutrons have a chance with those girls. And I asked my man, Rip T Fresh, Rip the Crip. I'm like,
Rip
yo,
the Crip.
I want to introduce you to this sister, man. So he drives me over there in his drop top on Dayton's. He drives me over there. And our last date, we took the metro. And I'm like, here. And I wanted to show how cool I was. Like, I know cool dudes.
I know cool people
I
with
know
cool
fly cats.
cool cars.
So I'm cool with
You know
cool
what I'm saying?
dudes.
Yeah. I'm that guy.
And then the next week she came to school and said, it's corny as hell. She said, I'll always love you. And I'm like,
Oh man.
what was that?
She
And
gave
then
you the
left,
Whitney Houston.
came to my homeroom. I didn't know that was a kiss off. I just thought that was being sweet nothing.
Oh wow. So you were floating on cloud 9.
Yeah.
But she really was
And
saying
then my homie Chet came and broke it all the way down.
he didn't even come to you. Like your guy didn't even come to you and say, man, I just took your girl.
And another dude I'm in high school with was like, oh, you was dating a freak and didn't even get none and was teasing me. That dude's a minister now. Boy, if I ever decide to
A man of the cloth.
if I ever decide,
changed his
I
life.
got dirt on everybody.
He changed his life.
Yeah, he's a minister now. And he told me he don't discuss the Lord.
Why not?
Huh?
How come?
Because
Aren't you supposed to evangelize the word, the
right,
gospel?
he would say some religious things.
Yeah.
We went to high school together, and we kind of had the same friend group
Yeah.
and same peer group. So he would come into our peer group and say religious things, and I'd come into our peer group.
With the AK.
If you flop yours out on the table, I get to take mine on the table. If you keep yours zipped up and buttoned up, I keep mine. So
You came in
he told
spitting.
me, he said, "Nah, brother,
But-
I don't play with God."
Ooh. So talking about God is playing with God?
He wouldn't allow me to blaspheme against
Oh
his
yeah,
God.
you go hard though.
Right, so- But anyway, yeah,
You go hard.
was-
So when you see the brother, first of all, that's a major bro code violation.
I had to.
That's a
holler.
brotherhood
And
violation.
the probably Rip don't even remember. He probably don't even remember. That's the thing.
Did you ever talk about it? Like, did you ever
No,
break it down,
no.
like politic
He
about it?
came
Like,
to
no,
me and
that was
like,
that was
dude,
weak.
man, listen.
My guy?
He was like, dude, I left. When we left, like the next day, she like paged me. And I'm like, how'd she get your pager number? He's like, I might have dropped it. I might have.
Wait a minute.
It might have.
Did you have a pager at least?
Pocket.
Did you have a pager at
I
least?
had no pager.
So you didn't have a car or a pager
or a house phone. I had to
or
use
a house
my
phone.
my homie's phone. I'd give. Man, you know, poverty is poverty.
First of
man.
all, that's a player move to give. You got to call my other guy's phone. You can't even have direct access
call
to
his
me.
mama's phone. Call his mama. Call
That's a
my
player
other
move.
friend's house, not like his personal phone. Yeah, but like Rick don't even remember. I had to.
Y'all
holler
still
at him.
friends?
Been friends. We've been friends since like the 3rd grade.
That's like some Best Man type stuff, like the movie Best Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, scandalous.
Like a struggle best man.
Ain't no honor
Broke
amongst
best
thieves,
man.
brother.
Yeah.
That's when you was in those Crip streets, repping.
Yeah.
Ain't no honor amongst thieves, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but yeah,
It's happened to us all, man.
Bring that up to him.
Yeah, man.
And then he dated her for like 2 weeks and moved on.
And moved on. But you really was into her.
No, I wasn't. I was trying to get into it. I didn't even have that opportunity to get into her emotionally.
It was grand opening, grand closing.
Yeah. But I didn't know. Somebody didn't drop game. Nobody spit game to me like, yo, you don't bring your homies around your girl.
And that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you have to think that way. Women do the same thing. They don't.
Do they?
Yeah, they don't. Women will say, if you really value your relationship, and if you really got a good man, don't be talking to your friends about how good your man is.
Really?
Because they
Do
will
you talk
test
down
them.
on your man?
You just keep your pride. You keep that piece about you private.
See, my wife's friends all hated my guts.
I'm shocked.
Out the gate. They even
shocked.
they staged like an intervention.
So did her father.
No,
About it.
he was cool with me.
I thought he didn't like you because you were changing her
Yeah,
dietary
but
habits.
then that's before he met me. When he met me,
when he met you, he
saw I was
liked
a solid dude.
He said, "Oh, he's not a weirdo.
Yeah,
He's just passionate."
yeah,
But her friends stage an intervention.
yeah. And like he
Erica.
told me I was his favorite son-in-law.
Oh, that's
But then
How
I
many
heard
son-in-laws?
He's got 2 other son-in-laws.
one out of
And he
3.
told them
He
all
okay.
the same thing. He was playing us too, like a fiddle.
He's a
up in the-
politician.
Yeah, he was playing. Everybody, like, there's no real people.
So Erica's friends didn't like you?
They staged a legit intervention. I kid you not. Like
Like she walked into a room and they were all
We
sitting down
both
on
came-
folded chairs.
and I was there too.
You were there too.
Yes. When she first,
How did that go?
we staged an event in the community,
Okay.
and all her friends showed up and sat on the front row.
Okay.
And
The
I
stoop.
thought they were interested in
They were on the stoop.
in our organizational efforts. It was at this place. Shout out to Yindis Nefa Atum. It was at this place called the Cowrie Shell Center.
So you were excited. You were like, "Oh man, we got some new recruits."
Yes.
No
lie.
We got some new
We had
people
this
rolling
group
in.
called the Who Vanguard, which was a militant black nationalist organization that we were going to overthrow.
Yeah.
Capitalism.
Wait, is it called the Cowrie Shell Community Center?
It was called the Cowrie Shell Center.
Oh man.
It was on Nostrand Ave.
So were cowrie shells like graced among the hallways of the city?
There was paintings and artwork, African
Oh,
Center. I
Paintings.
wonder if it's still up and about. But Yendez is still out there. There
All
it is,
right.
cowrieshell.com.
That's dope.
There it is.
Shout out to the Cowrie Shell
in
Center.
literally 2000.
Okay.
I mean, back when this was happening, this
Yeah.
was literally while the World Trade Center was still smoldering.
Wow. That's
But
Very
it's
graphic.
Still, Yendez is still doing her thing.
okay.
That's the Cowrie Shell Center.
So you walked into the Cowrie Shell Center.
It's in a new location. It's on Tompkins. Back then, it was
It
on.
was on what?
But yeah, but it was on Nostrand.
Okay.
But this is pre-gentrification Brooklyn.
Pre-gentrification Brooklyn.
Right.
All right.
And her friends
So you walked into
staged
the
an
Cowrie
intervention.
Shell Center. You see them. You're like, oh snap, we blowing up.
No, I was there already.
You saw them
We
come in?
organized this vegan event where it was basically political education, cultural education,
Mhm.
and vegan advocacy,
Got it.
black militancy, and holistic health. And it was a evening event open
Yeah.
to the community.
Okay.
And I was there setting up, and my girl came in. We were just dating. We were just hollering back then.
Yeah.
No
was
children.
this after?
Yeah,
was this
before she-
after the hip hop poem or this was after the poem?
Shortly
Okay.
after.
Shortly after the
A
hip
week or
hop
two
poem.
after I got her number, and we were conversing on the phone, twirling
Okay.
the phone cord
Okay.
all night. And her whole group of friends, and you know, my wife, she did literature, poetry.
Yeah.
She worked for Chicago Social. She worked for Trace Magazine,
She's out here.
modeling,
Organizing,
all this.
modeling.
And so those are her people.
Yeah,
Black
those are her people.
female professionals,
Professionals, models,
educated, independent, world traveled,
models popping by.
Right. So she was part of that the bougie Brooklyn crowd of 2000, right?
Let's go.
So they all walked in and sat on the front row.
Yeah.
And
Man,
I didn't know
I
it was an intervention until she told me. They came there to check me out and tried to save her from the cult that was Diallo.
With you there, though.
Yeah, right in front of me.
I gotta respect that. They didn't talk shit about you behind your back, right to your face.
They weren't rude. Like
That's
one
good.
girl was like,
Civil.
why do you speak down on
everybody.
religion? Why do you talk down on the government? Why do you believe these things? Why do you advocate for all this madness? What is your problem?
Why are you
why are you turning our friend against everything that is all good in the world?
Yes.
And that's basically it. And I was there trying to explain to them why. And I'm like, I'm not.
We're missing. We're jumping some steps. Before that, when you realized that it was an intervention and they said those exact same words, what did you feel at the time? Like, what was your initial feelings?
After they had left and the event was over, and we cleaned up, packaged up, and then we head home. And then like a week or two later, Erica told me she didn't call it an intervention. She was like, they basically came there to kind of dress me down and this and that. But it was so sophisticated, I didn't even know it was happening. I didn't know I was under attack.
They gave you the velvet hammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you were trying to explain to them that you're not a cult leader.
Yes.
Even though you hate everything.
Right.
You are not a cult leader.
Yes.
And you're here to enlighten.
And my hatred was driven by love.
Wow.
Yes.
That was deep.
Yeah.
So did they leave with a better understanding? Like, do they still dislike you? Do they warm up to you?
I don't
over
think
the years?
I won them over because these were like black professional cast who believed in the status quo and sought to elevate within the economy and hierarchical structures of the white imperialist government.
Like the young ladies from Insecure, the TV show.
Exactly, but 20 years before that.
Gotcha.
2 decades.
They predated.
Those
Insecure.
women paved the road that those women currently walk.
We are the dream of a slave.
Yeah,
man.
but yeah, that's it was wild
dream
time.
of a slave.
Yeah, but then she told me, they didn't like, and it was like all I did was start like
all you did.
I bought her a gun, and she went from vegetarian to vegan.
Thoughtful present.
She went from pescatarian to vegan.
Yeah.
We started riding bikes. We bought a couple of bikes and we would ride bikes everywhere.
You cleaned her up, taught her how to read.
And we would go to drum circles. But that was the thing. But then my homies was saying the same thing.
No, they were saying what?
Oh, this woman got you hemmed up. This sister, man, since the sister come through, it's all different.
She got you whipped. You got that whip up here.
No, they were African centered, so they didn't speak like that. They didn't use that terminology, but that's basically
what type of terminology did they use to describe your whipped state of euphoria and love?
Well, they were like, just brother, you got to recenter. You can't let her remove you from your square. Here's a copy of the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Women. No, and another book that a brother gave me was called The Anatomy of Female Power. That book was given to me and I read it and I got caught reading it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How'd you get caught reading that? You said it like you were reading a pornography magazine, like a porno magazine.
It's worse.
You got caught. Jasmine Cashmere, don't look at the screen.
And my wife was like, "Do you really believe this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, his brother is a brilliant scholar." and she was like, "You really believe this nonsense?"
Yes.
And but yeah, this book, The Anatomy of Female Power, is a wild. You think it makes The Anatomy of Female Power by Chinwezu makes Black Man's Guide look like a Sodom. That's how buck wild this book is.
Where can we get these books to talk about them, man?
Let's see, because like I said, they gave me this book a long time ago.
Let's talk about these books, man. These are some great books.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got is a few dusty books that ain't even in print anymore.
You have some wonderful stories, man.
In this world.
You have some wonderful stories.
But I think this is a good segue into today's topic. Wow.
Is there?
For $200?
$200. Hey.
It's not even a book.
The game is to be sold, not told. Word to Snoop Lion.
A copy will cost you $200 for this book?
That's great.
Wow.
We're getting paid.
But yeah, a brother
you want
gave
the
me
secrets,
a copy.
you got to get to the bag.
When he saw a woman had me falling for her. He gave me a copy of this book that I read in one day. It's like a pamphlet.
Man,
who's paying $200
I was
for the
excited
Anatomy of
because
Female
I was
Power?
falling in love with you.
I'll bring my copy.
Dun, 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 dun.
And we'll read some passages. It's wild. It's a wild book. You know.
Now that I'm falling.
And he called himself a masculinist.
Oh.
A masculinist.
A masculinist.
Yes.
Masculinist.
Yes. It's a masculinist dissection of matriarchy.
It's
a
mouthful.
masculinist dissection. And in this book, he states that women purposely make themselves appear to be frail and weak to basically manipulate and fool men into doing physical labor for them.
Gotcha.
So when they wear high heels, when they wear restrictive clothing like mini skirts or tight clothing, when they wear bras that restrict their breathing, they purposely basically hobble themselves to motivate men to do physical labor and make physical sacrifices on their behalf. That's just one.
So he's saying that women are manipulative. They're manipulators.
It goes so much deeper.
Using their assets to get brothers to do manual labor for them.
Yeah. So it talks about, basically, it talks about how women utilize and execute power. That women
their femininity,
are not,
their sexuality,
are as powerful, if not more powerful than men.
Yeah. They get to your mind and heart.
But their power is derived from feigned weakness and vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a wild book.
He was
so
spitting.
like I said, and you know, this
dude was spitting.
Scholarly. It ain't all this broken English from Black Man's Guide. Like, you know, the hood cats read Black Man's Guide. Us college-educated, sophisticated brothers, we read The Anatomy of Female Power. It's a wild book.
I don't even know how
I have to review that book.
the Shahrazad book, but I have it.
I
don't know how I got it though. I can't remember. I didn't buy it. Somebody gave it to me.
That book is omnipresent. You can't
Somebody
be a Black man without having every brother got a copy of that book.
Changed my life. I'm just playing. I was like,
a woman
is saying this?
When you defeat all other pygmies, she's
the boss. She's Bowser, level 8.
Right.
Dr. Robotnik. She's the final
but you know,
boss.
She got in trouble though. She got in trouble. She fell out of favor with men. This is thing a lot of people miss.
How? She was riding for us.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
She was on tour. Black men were literally flying her all over the world to do seminars and instruction. And there was even a full-length documentary written about the phenomenon of that book. A Black woman finally brave enough to tell the truth.
Telling the truth.
Then she wrote a book called How to Tell If Your Man is on the DL. When that book On the Down Low came out, she wrote a book called How to Tell If Your Man is on the DL.
Yeah.
And it was a step-by-step instructional book on tests that women could execute.
Okay.
Certain to the man's, without the man's knowing, certain things that a man could do.
Yeah.
That a woman should do without informing the man. So you go out and buy this book, and she said, don't show your man this book. Don't let this man know you know these secrets.
Right.
Because if the man knows you testing him on the DL, because that's when the DL hysteria was going on.
It was going
that
down.
Book On the Down Low was a #1 bestseller. And then his ex-wife wrote a book called On the Up and Up.
Yeah. And
then, you know, that's the whole DL phenomenon. And everybody was afraid. Every Black man was trying to prove he was not DL. And every Black woman was side-eyeing. It was madness. Do you remember that era? The DL hysteria
I do.
Of 2002,
there was a lot of books,
2003.
there was a lot of Black books and Black plays revolving around
DL,
the DL boyfriend or the DL husband infecting their,
of
know what I'm
course,
saying?
Shahrazad Ali had to jump in the arena. And in that book, there are certain tests.
Right in the wave.
That outraged her alpha male following.
Because she was given the secrets.
She was telling you how to test to see. One of the tests was.
Please tell me.
One of the tests was.
She was done you.
While you're having intimacy with your male heterosexual cisgendered partner.
But let me drink this before you say this.
So if your woman has all of a sudden started doing this with you and hadn't done it before, you can you can be mad at or appreciative of Dr. Ali.
Okay.
She said, start to engage in anal play.
Okay.
And digital penetration of the man's anus. And if he lashes out at you and enraged, he's passed the test. But if he's with it, if he enjoys it, if he encourages it, then your man is a DL.
And they were mad at that.
Yes. there were other things like
she was calling people out,
beginning to neglect your duties, or to buy like feminine things for your male children. And if your husband encourages or allows you to
if the woman buys
effeminize his son, then he might
gifts.
also,
because he's cool with it.
it's a whole the book did not really do very well. I wonder why. The sisters didn't come. The sisters didn't support Scheherazade.
That's crazy.
Yeah, all these sisters out here with DL men because they don't know.
If your man like you playing in his buns, his cakes,
he's on the deal.
You better watch out.
And men were outraged, like, you're out here telling
my secrets,
telling my wife to mess around the back door.
That's not why they were mad. They were mad because she was exposing the secrets.
I don't know.
The Hershey Highway.
I've never seen any like peer-reviewed study as to whether or not her if her techniques actually work, if there were any download men.
We should have known download was bad when R. Kelly made a song about it.
But that
we should have knew.
Predates download being applied to closeted
men, yeah. Or I'm just saying, when we first heard it, we should have. This is not going to go well.
But she actually wrote a good book.
Because Kelly said it, Ara said it.
She actually wrote.
She's prolific.
She actually wrote a pretty decent book.
Really?
Yes.
Hey.
And that book was Are You Still a Slave? Here it is. How to tell. Oh, it's not. Okay.
It's out of print.
How to tell. No, yeah. Let's see. There are no copies available. Sorry,
Darn
sisters. Sorry, sisters. Maybe you can find a bootleg copy. Oh, what's going on? Oh, here. How to tell if your man is gay or bisexual.
That's funny.
And this is where she fell out. She disappeared for years after this.
It was that much backlash.
You didn't notice
she had to go.
Scheherazade disappeared.
She had to go in the background.
You didn't notice that she kind of fell off.
No, I did not.
In 2003, I said 2002. It was 2003. But Sister Scheherazade fell off for a few years because brothers was carrying her up on their shoulders like it was a
prophet,
like a Jewish wedding, dancing around with her on their shoulders. And then she turned her critical academic
to the brown
dissection
to the brown
towards black men.
Yeah. And took her critical eye to the brown eye, and the brothers was like, "Yo,
yeah, brothers,
you've been canceled. They canceled her."
Yeah. So that's it. How to tell if your man
ain't no love in the streets.
I don't know why I thought it was. Well, this was during when everybody was talking about DL brothers, and I'm not sure why, but there are no copies available.
I'm shocked.
Not on Amazon anyway. How to tell if your man is gay or bisexual. Scheherazade Ali. Wow. I never actually got a copy of that book. So but I did hear her do a couple of interviews with some brothers would bring her on.
Yeah.
And it was ambush interviews. They would scream at her and attack her. And I think she was a bit taken aback.
She was probably hurt.
Because she had such a strong black male
base. Following.
But
these were her people. Her people turned on her.
Yes. Are You Still a Slave is actually a good book.
Man.
Because it's an exam. Let's see if we got any copies.
Are You Still a Slave?
Yeah. Okay, this is reasonably priced. Her best book is still available, and it's still reasonably priced.
It's $26.
I mean,
$25.99.
Yeah. I think the original price was like $15, but you can get it used, new for $25. But Are You Still a Slave? It's a multiple choice exam.
So you're taking a quiz.
Yes,
and you added up your points?
Right, but there's everything from a free black man all the way to a slave, but there are gradients and degrees depending on how you answer. So
how many levels were there?
It's a test. Confidential test.
Do you remember how many levels there were?
I took the exam years ago. It came out in 94. I probably took the exam like 95, 96. So I don't remember my score. But
that's very creative. I like that.
My score is in the book because I wrote in the book. My score is in the book. So.
And it's confidential.
Yeah, it's confidential.
We'll never know.
A lot of her books, have you read any of her books?
I read the guide to the To the black woman.
If you
Black
read
man,
in
whatever.
that book, she tells brothers, "Don't let sisters know you're reading this book."
Mhm.
She's one of the only authors that I
She
know
keep it real.
that be like, "Yo, if you read in my book,
Do not
don't
let
tell
the
nobody.
Other, don't let the
Yes,
ops get the
don't
book.
Exactly. Don't let others. Don't let your significant other know that you have this book. Don't tell them. Don't tell them what you learn in this book.
Right.
And I think that's a marketing strategy.
It's a great
You know how
marketing
we
strategy.
share books.
Yeah.
And people say, so if you can get everybody,
It
to
becomes
be
too
like,
hot for
"This is your
TV.
book."
Yeah.
So that book, her books are like, "This is confidential. Don't share this book with nobody else."
Shout out to her, man.
I think it's a marketing strategy.
That's a great marketing strategy.
I think she's done a service, but here's a disservice. But here's the thing: she's gonna burn in hell.
Wow. You don't even believe in
She
hell.
is a Muslim woman.
Yeah.
And she is teaching and speaking in an assertive, direct way, speaking directly to men. And if she was a good Muslim woman, and she said when you're a bad woman, you're supposed to get a slap across the face. If she was a good woman,
Mhm.
she
would not be doing that.
She could do that. The way a good Muslim woman is supposed to communicate is through her man.
Mm.
So she should have articulated
Given her
her
genius
views
to the
and
man.
thoughts and writings to her husband and allowed her husband
She was out of
to
pocket.
articulate her thoughts to the world on her behalf. That's Islam.
Her
And
fault.
if you're mad at me, be mad at Allah.
Her fault.
Be mad at the prophet.
She should have
She had no business
been the help me.
standing at a podium
None.
in front of hundreds of men
None.
telling us anything because you are unworthy. According to
She
your
should have given
own-
it to her alpha male
Yeah.
Muslim husband.
Yeah.
To tell the masses.
like a good Muslim. Remember when
Yeah.
Farrakhan was criticizing Beyonce? He didn't say that it was Beyonce's fault, Beyonce's responsibility. He directed all of his criticisms at Jay-Z for his failures to correct
his woman.
and curtail
His woman.
Beyonce, because that's good Muslim teaching, good Muslim behavior. If you're gonna be a Muslim, it's the old saying.
You got to
from
go
a
to the
movie.
boss. I'm not going to the middle man. The woman is the middle man.
There was a
I'm
movie.
going to the boss.
Exactly. So
Damn.
that's how Islam, and really Christianity and Judaism is supposed to function. Now there's
Well, she should have understood the rules.
a
And
movie
followed them.
yes, there was a movie I saw when I
Quarterly.
was a kid,
What
and
movie
one
was
of the
that?
characters, I think it was Cannonball Run or something, some throwaway movie. But the guy said in that movie, if you're gonna be a bear, be a grizzly.
Mm,
If you're gonna be a bear, be
a
the
grizzly.
bear, be the main bear.
Yeah,
if
don't be
you're
a
gonna
black
be
bear.
a bear,
Be a grizzly
don't
bear.
be a koala.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
be
we
a
don't want no
panda.
koala, don't
If
no
you're gonna be
panda.
a bear, be a grizzly.
Be a grizzly.
So if
Feel
you're
that.
gonna be a Muslim, be a Muslim. If you're gonna be the thing you're gonna be.
Be the
But don't
Michael
play
Jordan
at
of
it.
Muslims.
Exactly.
I
If
love
you're gonna chase balls, be Jordan.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So if you're gonna be a bear, be a
Don't be
grizzly.
Iverson.
But then
be
when
Jordan.
I be pointing out to the believers their own doctrine, their own belief system, they get mad at me.
Because
When I tell a Christian how to properly Christian, they get mad at me. When
You
I
should
didn't force them to be a
you
Christian,
should be a religious life coach.
I should be.
You should be.
I know.
To teach those who are in these religions how to be a better whatever
Yeah.
they are.
How to be truly Christ-like if you are a Christian.
You could be the Tony Robbins of religious life coaches.
Yeah.
You would be very. I see a lane
Oh.
for you.
But
I'll be your
they
agent.
don't want to listen to me.
They won't.
In fact, nobody can tell you better how to be godly than a person who doesn't believe in God. Because to me, there's no emotion or investment for me. It's all about the facts.
It's all about the facts with you. Yes.
Right.
So how can we do this?
I don't know. It ain't gonna work.
The life coach for the Muslim from the religious community.
Yeah.
Let me show you how to be a better Christian.
How to
a
be
better.
and I only use your
Muslim.
text. I only use your dogma.
Right.
I only use
I'm
your
coming.
code.
I'm coming where you're at.
Yeah, that's all. I'm like, just
That's beautiful.
if you're gonna be a bear, be a Christian. Don't come to me saying you're
That's
a
beautiful.
Christian. And like Kanye West says, he's a Christian and God is using him to show out.
Every time I see Kanye, his boots get bigger. I just saw a picture of him because he signed Aaron Donald from the Los Angeles Rams and Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics to his sports agency. I didn't even know he had a sports agency, but he had a picture with these brothers and his daughter, and his boots were up to his thighs. His big galoshes up to his thighs.
Oh, he's got access to his children now.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for him.
He's Yeezy.
He said he was going to start a movement for black fathers.
I'm waiting.
So
The
you know,
streets
well,
is
he
waiting.
got his daughters back. So
But every time I see him, his boots get bigger.
what does that mean? Is he
They get taller. They get wider. There's just bigger boots.
it breaks my heart every time I walk out into the community and I see Yeezys on black folks' feet.
First of all, they're terrible.
You got no racial pride.
They look like socks.
No racial esteem if you're wearing Yeezys.
Yeezy.
I got some, I'm not going to say bad news. I got some neutral news to share.
Please share.
As I was on my way here to the studio from Bronzeville,
yes,
I saw a parade of police cars zooming past me in the opposite direction. There was a police officer shot in Inglewood, and he's currently at I mean, it was like I saw no less than maybe 75 police cars.
Well,
at high speed. Because, you know, when they say officer down, they drop everything.
They drop everything.
Police department is a gang. It's a state-approved gang.
So go get you some TVs, some jewelry, because they're not
So the cops are about to start seriously tripping.
Yeah.
Black children can die every day. That's not cause for uproar.
Yeah.
But one of their own got
Negroes
clipped.
die every day, B.
He's currently at the University of Chicago, right up the block, right up the street from my crib.
Yeah.
He's over there. So, you know, be on the lookout. Keep your heads on a swivel, because the biggest gang in Kansas City. I want to talk about Kansas City after this. The biggest gang in Chicago is going to be on the lookout for some get back. They're going to be on the lookout for some get back. So be safe, black community, especially Inglewood, Bronzeville area, the far south side, south suburbs. Black people, be careful.
Be careful.
Because these cops
they out.
Are have one of their own got shot. You know,
we get shot every day.
Violence went up. You know, it's called ascending violence. There's basically 3 types of violence. There's ascending violence, when people low on the power hierarchy commit violence against people high.
Right.
You got descending violence, which is the most common form of violence, where people high on the hierarchy commit violence against people on lower.
Right.
Then you have lateral violence.
Right.
And so I'm a gang member, and I go and attack a politician or a CEO. That's ascending violence. Or I'm a gang member and I snatch an old lady's purse. That's descending violence. And then you have, I'm a gang member and I'm banging out with a fellow gang member. That's lateral violence. And descending violence is the most common and harmful form of violence in society. And in fact, all other forms of violence, lateral and ascending violence, are a byproduct of descending violence. It is the engine of violence. And it is the most rare form of violence is ascending violence, but it is the violence that brings about the most aggressive response
from the state. No
right.
doubt.
So, you know, like I said, there have been
attack on the institution.
Hundreds and hundreds of people shot,
yeah,
injured, murdered. But now that a cop has been shot,
they have to reinforce.
And being a policeman is a safer job
institution
than being a garbage disposal,
being a garbage worker, a construction worker,
a high school teacher.
Study out there that shows all of
the jobs that are much more dangerous than being a policeman.
Than police, but they are the heroes
when they get shot. So get ready. All I want to do is send out a heads up to the black community.
There was a festival,
especially in Inglewood and Bronzeville, to be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout.
The biggest gang in Chicago is going to be looking for indiscriminate get back.
Be smart. Stay safe. Watch your back. They out there.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
I was saying that there was a community festival back home where I'm from, and they had the police, the chief of police and other foot patrol out there doing the wobble at the community festival. It was beautiful.
Wow.
Just shaking their ass with the community residents, just laughing it up, yapping it up in a day of ribs, t-shirts, and poetry, inspirational messages, and dances with the police, man.
Always with.
I was like, how does this work? How does that work? How does it work where Monday through Sunday you're spouting all of this abolitionist stuff, violence prevention stuff? We need less resources in the police department and more resources in public health and in economic development and job training programs. And then you turn a jig on and then everybody just start dancing with the police. Like dancing, sweating, like House Party. Remember Kid and Play, House Party? That's how they were dancing. They were dancing that hard, that passionate with the police.
Same thing happened to me. I went to a few years back. There was this Bike Inglewood group where they had this massive bike event where everyone's supposed to come out and ride their bikes through Inglewood, you know, basically biking against violence, taking back the night, you know, law-abiding citizens coming to a crime and gang-ridden area to show that we're not afraid and we'll be out in unison together. Yeah. There was more cops on bikes than civilians. So I left. I didn't get to ride with my people. I swear, for every community member that was there with a bike, there were about 3 cops. And you know, they got them souped up bikes. So I'm like, I gotta go. I can't ride.
They were stunned
with the
community.
Right. So
all right.
I'm like, man, it was so many cops. So yeah, I see that as well. But what are you gonna do? They're the biggest gang in Chicago. If you don't play ball with this, you can't do nothing on a public level.
Yeah.
And that's the African Arts Festival is a bunch of cops parading around there. What are you gonna do?
Look at your local budget. Your biggest budgetary expenditure from a county and a city level is always going to be the police department, sheriff's department.
And on the federal level, the military. This is a system held together, the fabric of society, the glue of society is violence. It's violence. But anyway, going to Kansas City, speaking of police, there was a pregnant woman by the name of Leona Hale that was shot
5 times.
Shot 5 times.
Pregnant.
She's currently in critical condition. She was pregnant. I think, what did they say? 6 to 7 months pregnant. There was in Kansas City, Missouri, there was a report of a carjacking where a person used a firearm to steal a car. And after that, there was a car that fit the description of the stolen car. And
next to her car. Right.
No, she was in that car. The car that fit the description.
This report says when she arrived at the store, she heard officers yelling.
No, that was the person
witness.
who videotaped.
Got you.
The black pregnant woman was shot on tape.
Got you.
She's not actually from Kansas City. She's from Arkansas, she said, but she was driving at a gas station in Kansas City, not too far from my projects.
I read it wrong.
The man jumped out of the car and ran and jumped the fence. And half the officers pursued him. She got out with both hands in the air. Huh?
Music in the background.
There's music? Shouldn't be no. Let me see.
I don't hear nothing. My headphones are not even on.
Right. I don't hear nothing either. Oh, sorry about that. Music should be done.
You had the tunes going.
Why Facebook look like that? Facebook be messing with us.
You had the tunes going.
Anyway, I wonder why I could. Oh, I killed the tunes. Okay. Shouldn't be no music now. Sorry about that if the music was bothering you. Where was I? Oh,
yeah.
And so they told the woman to get down on her, lay down on her stomach and interlock her hands. And she said,
I cannot.
I'm pregnant.
I can't do that.
I can't. I'm pregnant. I cannot put my hands behind my head. I'm pregnant. And so because she failed to comply, the police shot her 5 times. They started approaching her with guns drawn. They said the woman actually started moving backwards away from the police and failing to comply with their demands to get down. There was no sight of a weapon. There was no weapon drawn,
so
no weapons fired.
A gun,
the only thing the police had was a report. Nope, they didn't see a gun in the car.
They were told there was a gun in the car, right?
They were told that car that the woman was in, the sister Leona was in, was stolen. And when the car was stolen, a gun was brandished at that moment. And then they saw the car that fit the description of the car. And when they descended on that car, they didn't see the weapon.
Got it.
And there was no weapon seen. And so they shot her, unarmed pregnant woman. And it was all caught on tape. They've only released the aftermath of the shooting. They haven't shown the actual shooting, I guess, so that...
Of course not.
We could be.
They're going to hold on to that tape, that discovery for a long time, as long as they can.
I've seen the aftermath, and after the woman was shot, visibly pregnant black woman shot 5 times without a weapon being brandished or seen. They put her in handcuffs with the bullet wounds.
Wow.
And the blood spilling onto the sidewalk.
In critical condition, 5 shots, pregnant.
And the baby and the mother, from when I actually looked the story up before I left. So about an hour and a half ago, she was in stable. She was in critical condition yesterday. She's been upgraded to stable, but the infant is still in great jeopardy.
Got you.
So that's where we are. And just to tell you about, I got on my Prospect Avenue shirt, which is from a company called I'm KC.
MKC.
I'm KC.
I am KC.
I'm KC, which is a clothing brand by my homie Dunn Dealer, local MC, local legend. Entrepreneur. I'm KC. Black people have built Kansas City, and from Chad, you know, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, never left the Union. So when Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, if your ancestors were enslaved, my ancestors got free from the Emancipation because we were in the Virginias and we were south of the Mason-Dixon.
Gotcha.
So we got freed by the Emancipation Proclamation.
Man.
But the enslaved Africans in Missouri and Kansas, who were slave states that never ceded from the Union, they decided to, as a reward of not leaving the Union, Abraham Lincoln allowed them. So, you know, Missouri, and that's also neighboring Kansas, the same history. But also, I had mentioned this a while ago. Remember, there was a travel advisory issued by the NAACP.
I remember that.
Telling black people to stay the blood clot.
Do not come here. Do not travel here.
Statewide. They say, black people, do not go to Missouri. And if you go to Missouri, you have to take special and extra precaution. First statewide travel advisory. Yeah. They didn't do this during Jim Crow.
But they did it this time because of SB 47? There was a state bill around the time that was limiting the options for people to discriminate at private establishments. And one of the senators one of his establishments were being sued at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So there was a big scandal and a big hoo-ha about it. I remember the actual advisory. I don't think nobody listened.
I listened. I drive through Missouri 2-3 times a year. I listened. The NAACP is sending a strong message. And this is the NAACP.
Yeah.
A
militant organization.
It's a
Pan-African militant organization.
Pacifist organization funded by corporatists, by Zionists, by the elites.
And they said, keep your monkey asses
and by the time
out of Missouri.
The most passive black organization. It said the NAACP is sending a strong message to the people of color traveling through Missouri.
Yeah.
Go at your own risk. The organization is circulating a travel advisory after the state passed a law that Missouri's NAACP conference says allows legal discrimination. The warning cites several discriminatory incidents in Missouri, including as examples of looming dangers in the state.
Mm-hmm.
This is in 2017. And I was born and raised in Missouri.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
I was born and raised not 3 miles from where that black woman was shot.
Mm.
And from when I was an adolescent, I started doing social justice work, working with the Stop the Violence Coalition, working with the Block Brothers, the Boys and Girls Club, the National Black United Front.
Right.
And I'm telling you, Missouri, and I know, and a lot of times, having lived in New York, having currently living in Chicago, having been to the Bay Area, having been to Atlanta, Black Wakanda, America Wakanda.
Yeah. Homer Killer Mike.
I used to have to
and other
bite my
revolutionaries.
tongue when you big city cats would talk about discrimination and racism.
I don't live in a big city.
Wisconsin ain't a big city?
Milwaukee it's like 500,000
where
people.
all the cheese is?
Yes. Cheese and beer, dairy.
You a city
meat.
Cat. You got city cat disposition.
It's not a big city though. LA, Chicago, New York.
Yes. Well,
those are big cities.
It's a northern city.
Still not a big city.
I'm
just saying it's a mid-major. It's a mid-major, man.
It's a northern
don't lump
city.
me in with those other cats.
You northern.
We don't got no subway. We don't got no L train. We got buses. That's it.
Okay, I'll leave you out.
Pothole laden streets.
I'll let you pretend to be down here with me. But like I said, born and raised in that city, it is apartheid. I remember when I moved to New York in 1992, right? That was the first time I saw like white people step off the sidewalk for black folks, like move out the way. And I tell people all the time, remember when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And black people, all these black celebrities who follow the winning teams, all these black celebrities started going to the Midwest and going to Missouri, leaving the big cities. And what was that one rapper, Trey Songz, got beat down?
Did he?
In Chiefs Stadium. And I was telling all you city black folks that are riding the whole Chiefs thing, that are with the Chiefs now because they won the Super Bowl. And all
one of our own is the quarterback now. One of our own.
Mahomes.
Yes. One of our own.
And I told him, y'all go to Kansas City, y'all go to Missouri. Even Del Jones said when he came from Philly and started traveling the Midwest and the South and talking slick, they were like, yo, brother, number one, you need an armed escort. Number two, you need to let people know your locations when you leave and when you get there. The Midwest, America is still an apartheid, segregated, Jim Crow.
Right. But none of that necessitated a statewide travel advisory
from
the militant organization of the NAACP.
Did you remember the story?
But
when
a Senate bill did.
A Martin Luther King Boulevard in Kansas City?
No.
And there was a petition to tear it down.
Really?
And Kansas City, Missouri, where this black woman was shot, was the only city in the whole country to ever have a Martin Luther King Boulevard and have it torn down. And there was a parade of coons that they put up front saying, we don't want no King Boulevard. I live 3 blocks.
A parade of them?
Yeah.
Just marching down the street.
And they said, and you know why they said they didn't want a King Boulevard?
Why?
Because everywhere you look at King Boulevard, you see violence and poverty.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was some historical things happening with Dr. King Drive in my home city of Milwaukee, because King Drive, it stopped in the predominantly white downtown business area. So when they initially had the drive and named it after him, it stopped at this very affluent, business-minded community in downtown Milwaukee. And on this federal holiday of 2022, they finally took out Old Third World Street and made it Dr. King Drive. They extended it to the white folks. Progress is being made every day.
I was actually in Kansas City just before they removed the signs. Shout out to Chauncey, co-conspirator number 2. And I was very tempted to get me a little wrench and take down that sign. But, this is Kansas City. This is real America. Remember when Sarah Palin got in trouble during the campaign against Obama because she said real Americans are voting for McCain?
Yeah.
Suggesting that non-real. This is real America. Yeah. People like America is still a backwoods freaking Dixieland. And remember when
the Paseo once again.
I think Kansas City voice was heard.
The debate was a frequent topic at Joey Thomas's barbershop.
You gotta go to the barbershop. First of all, how is he at the barbershop?
That just legacy died.
Right now, there's a Martin Luther King Elementary and a park named after him.
Along the entrance, we'd love to see a civil rights memorial and monument.
Urban designer Duron Nutzel wants to renovate the park named after Dr. King.
We feel it's not quite the honor that Dr. King deserved.
This is the design, adding in ball fields, public speaking areas, and a way to honor Dr. King.
He would love to see more investment in this. Something that brings people together, something where people feel safe, where they can hang out with their friends and strangers as well, someplace they can be active.
On 41 Action News this morning, Mayor Quentin Lucas talked about what's next.
Why can't
you hear him?
No
they cut the mic off the brother.
City council say you need to take priority.
Got shit to
Definitely keeping the community engaged is important. Making sure that everyone's voice can be heard, as many as
for him. But how and where?
I think all of us can fairly agree that Martin Luther King name should be recognized here in Kansas City, whether it be an avenue, a boulevard, a fairway, an airport, a highway, an intersection, whatever the case. But what is going to be that fight?
What?
First of all,
he,
the brother didn't even get his hair cut. You're in the barbershop, they're videotaping you. Your hair's not even cut. I don't even understand that. That's the first thing. My first critical observation.
Well,
if you want to interview somebody at the barbershop, interview somebody in the chair getting their hair cut.
They showed that earlier.
Do us that favor.
Well,
how much time do black people waste fighting over empty symbolic victories?
Not enough. I think we should spend more time doing it. But when they took that sign down, right? They took down the King Boulevard sign.
Oh, so it passed.
I just want, I went to one of my homies' businesses in Kansas City.
That's terrible,
and I saw the petition at the counter. And I'm like, yo, what is this? And they brought, and I'm not saying a King Boulevard. It's just what it does is speak to the mentality of just not just the travel advisory. And so then, Missouri wanted to fight back against this negative publicity that they were getting because the Mike Brown.
Did the NAACP
Mike Brown murder
around the
this is 2017 and it's still ongoing. The travel advisory, the Mike Brown hands up, don't shoot.
Yeah.
The King Boulevard snatching down King didn't get a boulevard in Kansas City. So then Missouri was like, we're gonna fix this. They hired a white PR firm, right?
Look,
and Missouri cast black woman in new tourism effort to fight the travel advisory. And here this girl grinning, and she's at Worlds of Fun.
First of all, she got the elephant. She has the cotton candy. She got the natural hair. You know what I'm saying? She's looking surprised, invigorated on the roller coaster.
To say,
hey,
you colored folks ain't got nothing to fear down around yonder. Come on down.
First of all,
your money and get out by sundown.
First of all, she's a black first, first black person on the tourist website, on the tourist boards. So she's the dream of the slave, first and foremost. Okay. Yeah. Second of all, representation matters. That's all I hear in my community is that representation matters, having black faces in high places, regardless of what the place does. As long as they're there, we are moving along.
Even a high place? She's a freaking mascot.
She's the first, though. The first.
Let's see if this will convince you. Let me see,
Brother Diallo. She is the first.
I want to see if I can sell, if this will get you to visit Missouri. Let's just share this. You know, a black woman shot 5 times, and the black police chief making excuses. Here we go. Let's see. Here we go.
What makes for a great vacation depends on who you ask. Are you looking to get away or bring everyone together? Do you want to get outside and play? Or see a play at the plate? Do you want to feed your soul or stuff your face? Fortunately, however you operate, I've got you covered. The name's...
Let me wait a second.
Hey.
They couldn't even use multiple black people because if you notice, all the other black people are her. They couldn't even give 3-4 black people a job. Do you see that? All the other, and you see homegirl is on the damn roller coaster with her mask on. What is going on?
But she's the first.
And she's the artwork. They couldn't even put up no real black art. Like this black woman.
Who cares? She is the first.
And let me tell you something else. She ain't even from Kansas City. She ain't got that Kansas City.
Fortunately, however you operate, I've got you covered. The name's Missouri, but you can call me Mo. And I have just one question.
They got a slap. They got.
Hey, what is that?
That's a mountain climber.
A mountain climber.
Well, actually, no, she's a cave diver because you know Missouri has more caves. I think Arkansas is the only other state that has more caves than Missouri.
Nice.
She's a rock and roller.
Hey,
what in the world?
First of all,
and it's the same woman. They couldn't hire like a dozen sisters to stand behind her. And why they got her dressing like a goddamn house slave? And then her name is Missouri. She is the living embodiment of.
She's the first black living embodiment of Missouri.
I gotta go back.
Congrats to her.
What's your
making progress?
You know,
I'm disappointed. They should have had Nelly making a song for her. So she
Nelly ain't been back to Missouri since '91.
He rapped the zoo.
He left before I did. I had to struggle to get
Nelly
out.
said, "I'm getting the hell up out of here."
He paid his way out. I had to buy my way out.
We're going down Missouri Road. You know what I'm saying? He could have.
And that's Missouri's response to being called out as one of the most racist. And whenever you say what's one of the most racist states, people always Mississippi. Goddamn, they say Mississippi. They say Texas.
Yeah.
The thing about Missouri gets to fly under the radar. Racist as hell. Very. You know my favorite uncle. I got 5 uncles.
Yeah.
My favorite uncle. My mother had 5 brothers. Was a cop in Kansas City for 30 years.
That's your favorite uncle.
My favorite uncle
must be a good guy.
Uncle Chris, yes.
Uncle Chris. I
retired from the Kansas City Police Department. And when he was a cop,
yeah,
the policeman in the Missouri Police Department, there was the colored side of the police cafeteria and there was the white side. In the policeman's gym, because you know that all the cops got them thick necks.
Yeah.
There was the colored side, and there was one cop in the whole police
traps
department.
To beat on the blacks.
There was one black cop.
Yeah.
They used to hang with the white cops, go drinking with the white cops, honky tonking with the white cops, going to the Ozarks, and none of the black cops associated with that dude.
Okay.
Even the cops internally were segregated. And he used to just tell me these stories. He used to tell me these stories, man. You know, and like I just, you know, y'all pray for Missouri.
It's a beautiful world. Missouri.
But real talk, man. So we got a new atrocity coming straight out of Missouri, and they're going to have to hire another black woman to be the living embodiment.
The first ever living embodiment.
Right.
Put some respect on her name, brother.
Yeah,
she's the first.
Nightmarish, insane.
She's the Michelle Obama of Missouri. Yeah. Repping it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And so
representation matters.
We might have to rise up again. They won't even let us rest. They just exhausting us.
They kill us
psychologically, physically.
It's exhausting.
Where they just days after taking a mass shooter into custody.
They take Dylan Roof shot up black folks in a church.
Black woman.
And got a Burger King meal.
But then I'm not even saying this to suggest that they need to shoot these white boys. I'm saying this to say that they don't need to be shooting these African people.
Anybody.
And there's a black police chief there now. That's the thing. The city's all, including Chicago, with all these predatory
pregnant black women
cops.
Yeah.
All these predatory cops. Now they put a black man in the white shirt and put some gold medals on him. And every time these pigs murder or commits an atrocity against our community, they march out a crop and all these shiny medals, this big shiny policeman's cap. And so I didn't even know Kansas City Police Department had a black chief of police. But he's acting. They don't even make it official for him.
Why was Michael Jackson singing about going to Kansas City?
He did.
Because of some pretty girls.
What are you talking about?
I'm going to
Michael
Kansas
Jackson?
City.
That's not a Michael Jackson.
Where you get Kansas City, here I come.
That's not Michael
He did a
Jackson.
cover. He did a cover.
Oh, he did a cover.
Yeah, but why? So why was he singing about going to Kansas City?
18th and Vine is the home of jazz.
Just pretty girls.
Louisiana line talking about that's where jazz and swing started. Jazz music started. Charlie Parker. Jazz music started. The home of jazz.
They don't get
Kansas City, Missouri.
They don't always get that rep,
18th and Vine. The jazz, the Mutual Musicians Foundation. So that's when you hear that going to Kansas City. Kansas City was a hub for the bootleggers. There was a big hub, Al Capone, Chicago, all the liquor coming from the distilleries down south during Prohibition would stop in Kansas City, and the New York mob and the Chicago mob and the KC mob would gather it there and then distribute it to the big places up north. So that's when Missouri, at the same time, when jazz music, big band, Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway came up in that era, the Prohibition era.
Yeah.
So jazz, like I said, black people made barbecue.
There's a Vine Street.
Everything that is anything that you know about Missouri, the St. Louis Cardinals,
the barbecue,
the jazz, the barbecue,
the culture,
swing,
comes from the black people.
Football. It's black people carry that goddamn state on our backs.
Tell them.
And while they gun our pregnant black women down, while they got us living in the slum of slums. I had a friend come visit from New York and came to Kansas City to visit. And she was like, where are the sidewalks? And, I never noticed. Yeah, there are no sidewalks in the black community. And this wasn't back in 74.
Right.
This wasn't back in 94. This was like in 2000. No, it wasn't 2000. Let me not lie. Like 97. A friend of mine came from New York and was like, I feel like I'm... And this sister was from St. Lucia. And she was walking around Kansas City, like from the hood. I took her to my neighborhood and she said, what is this? We need to take up a fund.
Yeah.
For less than a price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And you go to Kansas City, you see monorails, you see the AT&T Power and Light districts. We call it the Power and White district.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all this affluence.
All this money.
And you go to Prospect. And during the King Uprising, 1968, black people rose up in Kansas City. One of the greatest Black Panthers of all time, Pete O'Neill, who's still in exile in Africa. Mm-hmm. He was over the Kansas City chapter of the Black Panther Party. He's been exiled in Africa for decades. The King riots happened before I was born.
Yeah.
And I grew up in the 80s and 90s walking past the burnt out shells of buildings in the black community from the King Uprising, from the King Rebellion.
Yeah.
And they abandoned and isolated. And that's before they dumped the crack cocaine.
Yeah.
They used to drive through the black community in Kansas City with tanks. And instead of where the cannon used to be, they put this square steel plate,
Right.
and they drive that thing right through homes.
It's like they strategically use the riots, the freeway expansion,
divestment,
all in divestment, and tearing down some of the more stronger, neighborhoods in the Black community.
Yeah,
systematically. Then they brought in the crack, and
So yeah, if you're going to Kansas City, if you're going, because that show, The Ozarks.
The
I grew up going
New
to
York
the
fires of the 1970s, where they were like landlords were. Property owners were paying gangs to torch buildings to collect insurance
and to slash the faces of people's grandmas.
Man,
they were paying gangs here in Chicago to assault Black community members to drive them out.
Wow.
And people like Farrakhan want to lie and talk about gangs are our frontline soldiers when they are agents of the state, not allies of the people. So anybody going to Missouri, because that show Ozark, I grew up going to Silver Dollar City, eating saltwater taffy, riding logs down the creek.
Do you watch the Ozarks?
Yeah, I watched it.
What do you think of it?
They got some things right, some things wrong.
Okay.
They show, but yeah, the brutality and
the
criminality
they get down
of Central Missouri, Columbia, Missouri, and the Ozarks, and Belton, Missouri, the KC mob. They got a lot of stuff right, but it's
So shout out to the sister, man, the baby.
Yeah. But anyway,
Attorney Benjamin Crump will be in the city shortly with his coon
Sharpton.
Sharpton, all of the Black elite activists and lawyers to come in and get a civil settlement, and
Jesse Jackson
get a new weave extension.
But let's hear some good news.
Is there good news?
Yeah, I mean, I just making people aware.
We
got a new name. We got a new hashtag.
Do we?
Leona Hale. Say her name.
Say her name.
Leona Hale.
That's the old hashtag. We got to, that's the reuse hashtag, the perpetual hashtag. Say her name, say his name, because we get shot every day.
Right. You don't even know
use
which
it every
name.
day.
Right. It's day-to-day atrocities.
Say their name.
But this is very indicative of Missouri, very indicative of the Kansas City PD, St. Louis PD. And guess who's been charged with investigating the shooting?
The cops.
The state patrol. Because they don't want the Kansas City Police Department investigating themselves on that shoot that was on video.
So another level of
cops. So the Missouri State Highway Patrol that has already investigated another shooting incident and said that the victim was unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the video was released. No, they said the victim had shot the cop, and then the video. But the long story short, I can't keep getting into.
I like the logic of.
I don't want to take up the whole time
state cops
about Missouri. But
heading the investigation for local cops.
They already once got caught lying on behalf of the KCPD. And so they have already mobilized the state troopers to investigate this shooting and handcuffing and handling of this pregnant Black woman that was shot by the Kansas City. So the State Highway Patrol, which is even more racist. I've been pulled over more than once by the Highway Patrol. Because anytime you have Black people driving the 70 highway that runs between St. Louis and Kansas City, they think you trafficking.
It's not enough that white people are, the source of our problems. They also want to be the source of the solutions. How kind of them? We're gonna fuck your shit up, but we also hold the keys to any type of justice or solutions in your community.
But shout out to Kansas City, all my Kansas City people. For all the bad things I'm saying, there are mad African people on the ground there.
Yeah.
That are organizing. Shout out to the Papa, the Dunn Dealer. If you don't know his music. Get his music. He is a fixture there, advocating for Black development in Kansas City. Shout out to
every African that is consistently trying to organize something for the empowerment and liberation of Black people. Because
shout out to the National Black United Front Kansas City chapter, John Webster.
Yeah, shout out.
Samori Grace, all the people there,
everybody
on the ground,
names that we haven't even said.
Toes down, in on the front line. We talk slick here in Chicago, but we got people in Chicago. There's some Black folks here. They know they mess with us. It's going to be some issues. It's going to be some furniture movement. But Black people that are heavily outnumbered, 1,000 to 1 in Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, these Black people where you really feel that minority status.
Yeah.
I know I'm a minority in this country, but I'm a majority in my hood. I had never, until leaving Kansas City, I had never walked more than a block and a half without seeing a bunch of white folks. I never in my life experienced walking block after block and nothing but Black people. So Black people living in the Midwest and parts of the South that ain't Atlanta, that ain't Houston. Shout out to y'all, man.
You know what else I found out about Missouri?
What?
They have the highest density of dark money super PACs, political super PACs.
Oh yeah,
because of the laws here.
Yeah, the Missouri PACs.
Yeah, super PACs here.
That's where they steal the elections. That's where it happens. They call battleground states. But let's move on. Let's share some good news. In Brooklyn,
what good news are you talking about?
In Brooklyn,
hello,
a
Brooklyn.
Catholic tabernacle. There was a $2 million gold shrine stolen from New York City church.
How is this good news?
A $2 million gold tabernacle, and the thieves who stole the Augustine Roman Catholic Church Notre Dame, St. Augustine Roman Catholic Church had a $2 million gold tabernacle shrine that was stolen.
And angel statues beheaded.
On their way out, they decapitated one of the angel statues. That ain't good news. And they're trying to call it a hate crime against the Catholic Church.
How is this good news, man? The house of God was violated.
A church had a $2 million artifact. What the blood clot are you doing with a $2 million artifact in a city that has a housing crisis, that has a food insecurity, a city that has high increasing poverty rates, displacement of poor people, a healthcare system is overtaxed, insulin, baby formula shortage.
Yes. Okay.
You got a church that is supposed to be working for the poor and underserved, and I got sitting on $2 million shrine. Why didn't the church melt that goddamn gold down and redistribute those resources to the people?
You make valid points, but I just want to say that according to the church, it is sterling silver and encoded in 18 karat gold. That's the first thing.
Okay.
Shout out to the thieves. Not only did, first of all, it was just very heavy.
Doing God's work.
They had to cut some other stuff out.
Oh yeah.
But they also stole the video evidence.
Oh, that's a high-end job.
They stole the surveillance video.
Not coming back to the streets.
So I'm like, is this an inside job?
That ain't no Robin Hood.
This is an inside job.
I'd rather crooks have it. Well, I'd rather real criminals have it.
And how do you fence that? Like, what's the market for that?
I say let God recover his own property. I don't think we should use human resources to get God's property.
I think it was an inside job.
God knows who did it.
Somebody had some gambling.
God knows who did it. God knew they were going to do it before they did it.
And
God is right now wherever they are. So God has forgiven. Let God handle his. I don't want no taxpayer resources because that is a tax exempt organization.
Yeah.
Let God carry out the judgment. Let God go in and carry out.
Somebody went to church and they said, I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm not looking at this shit anymore. It has got to go.
And the church said they don't even care about the money. It's about the historic
value. Yeah, they said that it is priceless. It cannot be replaced.
Value. They don't even. That's good news. I thought I was.
And in disgust, beheaded the angel.
Well, yeah, that's probably something else. Maybe they didn't have to put an angel like that. But that's vicious. That's redistribution. Where'd the church get the $2 million from? Where did they steal it from? The gold from? I thought that you'd be happy to hear this. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I thought I'd share some good news with you. But you obviously.
I'm curious as to why that's good news. But you're saying that the people have taken back.
Has robbed the people, and now the people are taking back, getting some get back.
Okay. Why behead the angel? What did the angel statue have anything to do with this?
Maybe the angel was looking at him sideways. The angel 6'9" was gonna snitch.
So you're looking at me too closely.
Yeah.
I just want to know, how are you going to get that off? Who's buying that?
Smelt. Cauldron.
You're just gonna melt it down?
Cauldron.
Okay.
Component parts. And let me tell you, that was so sophisticated.
Put it in the middle of Marcy Projects.
Yeah. Hey.
And stun on it, and decorate it.
Here comes some Christian saying that Jesus said the poor will always be with us.
He will, and you can always look at my gold statues while you're with me.
So Jesus said the poor will always be with us. What else did Jesus say about the rich? You tell me what he said about the poor. Tell me what Jesus said about the rich.
Catholic Church has a lot of money. I just want to say that.
Yes.
A lot of money, a lot of resources, a lot of land and political capital. So
yeah. And a lot of pedophiles.
They're not missing that.
And a lot of pedophiles.
A lot of pedophiles.
Oh, speaking of pedophiles in the church, I said something that I was absolutely wrong about.
What?
Remember I said that
you were wrong?
Yes, absolutely wrong.
Oh my God.
Dead ass wrong.
Armageddon is upon us.
Speaking out the side of my neck.
Speaking out the side of your neck.
I said that the sexual abuse within the Protestant churches were just as egregious and widespread as the sexual predation in the Catholic Church.
Okay.
I said the only reason why we're not as well aware of the predation within the Protestant church or the evangelical and Baptist church as we are as the Catholic, because it's not a centralized hierarchical authority.
Yeah.
Whereas if I want to be a Catholic priest, I have to insert myself within their hierarchy and dwell within that.
Right.
Whereas if I want to be a Baptist, the spirit can hit me right now. Hold on, let me see if it hits.
You're independent.
Oh, if the spirit had hit me, it didn't hit me.
They're like the
now.
Master P of churches. They're independent.
Right.
They do their own thing.
I can go into a storefront. I don't need any type of higher authority besides God, i.e. me telling myself that. But lo and behold, the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church do have a list. They do have the records that the Catholic Church had.
They do.
Yes. I didn't know this record existed. And neither did most investigators. And
so everybody keeps a list.
Southern released previously secret list
of
accused sexual abusers. The Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant religious organization, just 3-4 days ago, had a list. They were well aware of the sexual predation. They had recordings from the victims. They had confessions from the predators, and they hid those. And they covered for those men to allow them to travel the nation to continue. Now, I said this list didn't exist because it's not as hierarchical, but then something I forgot.
You have to keep political leverage to keep people in line.
And so, yes.
that's the only reason why the list existed in the first place, is to make sure that people do not stray too far from the status quo and bend to the whims of the institution, because I have political leverage on you.
Yes.
In the form of sexual assaults and pedophilia. Which are disgusting, by the way. It's disgusting.
They told the victims, they encouraged the victims not to report, but to pray.
Of course.
They told the victims that they were at fault. It is a comprehensive report.
And that's a long-standing in church tradition, and how that's their PR for dealing with any type of sexual assault or any type of sexual malfeasance or crimes committed against women and children and men in the church.
And like I said, let me just correct myself. Like I said, if I'm wrong and there's evidence that I'm wrong, I'll say it. I was wrong. I said this list. I didn't know the list existed.
There's a list.
I didn't say the list didn't exist.
It's a list for everything.
I just didn't know that the Baptists were that stupid, because there's no pope. There's no archbishop.
There's no centralized organization. It's like a free-flowing Orthodox. Yeah, it's a free-flowing coalition of churches. There is no national Baptist church.
There's a convention that you voluntarily
come to.
So I just didn't imagine that these goddamn Baptists, were dumb enough to compile and collate it. But like you said, it allows them to keep those and make sure, because you got to pay dues to be part of that convention.
And I'm sure there's more evidence. I'm pretty sure there's videotapes.
But it's not getting the press.
Yeah, leaked record. I know there's that.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about dirty politics, do not look further than the church.
Yeah.
Than religious organizations.
If you a Baptist,
get down.
If you a Methodist, if you a goddamn what's the other?
If you just
Protestant, if you are a Protestant, you can no longer look at the Catholics. You can no longer look at the Pope and the cardinals and the bishop and wave your finger.
This is not
because your house of worship, your belief system, your sect, your Christian sect, is just as guilty of facilitating abuse as the Catholic Church is.
And these are supposed to be institutions of morality, of purity, and justice.
Yeah.
Right?
Which are omnipresent, omnipotent, all powerful, omnibenevolent, all good. Your God was in the room every single time. One of his chosen was abusing a child. Your God was right there. And he had the power to address it.
And shepherds misleading the flock,
make it make sense.
Exploiting those underneath them and under his spiritual guidance and protection.
Right.
Sexually.
Right. And I think we can go on. Oh, 15 minutes. This is Q4 Radio, broadcasting straight out of the city of Chicago.
Q4.org.
Q4.org. We on Spotify. We on
Apple Podcasts.
We
everywhere.
We off the porch. We in the streets.
We're
outside.
on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on
go
YouTube.
To Q4.org. You go
everywhere.
To Politics XBS at Politics XBS, and you can find our
us on
broadcast.
Twitter and Instagram,
Facebook,
Politics and Bullshit
YouTube, subscribe
on YouTube, Politics and BS on Facebook.
Right.
We've been having every show.
Blessed and highly favored.
We are. First of all, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Blessed.
My heart melts that you feel the same way.
What is
we are blessed and highly favored?
You know,
let me finish what I'm saying, then you can go into, you can go down, do your thing. But I just want to say thank you to all of the underground support, because every week we get more views, we get more followers on our social media platforms. Word of mouth is catching. People are liking what they're hearing.
Blessings on
and
blessings.
I appreciate you taking the time to listen to two
I'm about to
hating ass uncles. We hate
radical uncles, not hating uncles.
We some hating ass
uncles.
Radical alpha uncles.
The alpha uncles.
So we appreciate your support. Thank you, black people.
Alpha uncles. Now,
thank you. Now let's talk about first of all, we are the first black radical podcast to be highly favored and blessed. Yes. Blessed and highly favored.
Do you know what blessed means? You saying you blessed?
I'm blessed.
You're gonna say you blessed.
I'm lucky.
What does that mean? That's not
I'm
what
special.
Blessed means.
Nope, I'm talking about what I think of the
You don't
word.
Get to define your own words. So you can't.
I define my own reality. I define my own reality.
That's what people say just before they end up in jail or end up in an asylum.
I define my own reality. Okay?
What does blessed mean?
I am lucky. I am special. I am wrapped in the nook. You know how babies sit in the nook of their parents? I sit in the nook of God.
But what does
I'm looking it up,
mean?
man.
Oh, you gonna look it up?
Yeah, Max. I'm telling you what I think it is. I don't listen to what the white man tells me what it is.
Let me show you a blessing.
To hallow or consecrate by religious rite or word.
No, what does the word blessing mean?
The sign of the cross. To invoke divine care for. To praise, glorify, to speak well of, to confer prosperity or happiness upon, protect and preserve, endow, favor.
I hate to do this to you.
Laud, magnify, praise, resound, celebrate, emblazon, exalt, extol.
Nope. Let me show you what. You know what a blessing is? It literally means to drench in blood. To bless someone literally means to drench them
in the blood of Jesus.
That's a blessing. You see that on the screen?
Drenching
where the blood is falling down on Carrie.
Like Stranger Things.
That
season 4.
I don't watch Stranger Things. My wife watched that.
You don't watch that. You don't watch Stranger Things with like Mingo?
A woman with superpowers and the men don't have no superpowers. I'm alpha, man. You know, Umar ain't open to school yet, so I'm doing my own independent alpha studies.
I would just think that somebody of your nerd of your
alpha studies until Umar opens the school.
You're an epic nerd.
I'm self-taught alpha.
You love sci-fi.
Self-trained alpha. I watched the first season.
And you
just couldn't, man.
It's a really good show. My lady got me into it. We watch it together.
So you and my wife and your wife can put on your headscarves and get your bonbons and your frilly.
You gotta get your snacks.
Robes.
You gotta get your snacks.
You're welcome. I'll send her to your.
You gotta
house,
get your snacks.
She be asking
it's
me
a
to
good read.
Oppressed and highly targeted.
Yeah.
Hater. That's somebody.
Also blessed and highly favored.
But let me
coincidentally, we're also blessed and highly favored.
Because you looked up the definition.
Yes.
If you look up the etymology of the word bless,
Latin roots is what?
To praise, worship.
In blood.
But the English etymology means bliss. And the word blissan means blood. To mark or consecrate with blood. To be blessed means you are marked or consecrated with blood. And let me tell you something. In a Western capitalist society, if you are blessed, if you are receiving blessings, that means you are literally drenched in blood. And what do we as black people, black Christians, you black Christians, and I'm a baptized black Christian myself. That means you got money.
Yeah.
You got land, property.
It's popping.
You got jewelry. You got designer this and designer that. You got nice cars. And all of that, all of the material comfort and material luxuries we enjoy in this system comes through the shedding of blood, through capitalist exploitation, slave, sweatshop labor, the warfare, stealing oil, stealing land, So if you are a blessed person under capitalism, you are literally drenched in blood. If you are a blessed and highly favored person, that means everything you enjoy, every material luxury and benefit you enjoy is drenched in blood. And it means that you embrace that. It means you embrace it. So I know.
Blood in, blood in, blood out.
Yeah, that's what Christianity is. It's all blood. It is a violent murder cult.
Blessed and highly favored.
Male Christianity is a male chauvinist murder cult. Male chauvinist murder cult.
I just wish they would stop acting like they're not sexual freaks.
Who? Yeah.
Christians.
Oh, we're gonna have to get back to that.
But like, open up your religion to sex. Let's cut out some of these problems. Let's merge our worlds together. Let's keep it real.
Yes. And I wanted to lead into the Baptists getting busted. The Baptists getting outed like the Christians got outed, right?
I mean, it was like 765.
That's just the surface. That's just
from like 2000 to. It was like from a 15-year period.
Back to the 1600s.
I know, but they have.
It goes back to BC.
I'm talking about these records.
Oh yeah, those records.
I'm talking about the records they found. It's like 765 records.
And they harassed the children. They told the children that they were going to burn in hell. And they told the children to forgive their predators.
I'm going to churches
Baptists
with these.
got busted.
Yeah.
And before that, the Mormon church got busted.
Scandals.
And you know who else got busted? It's just not a U.S., but it's in Australia. The Jehovah's Witnesses got busted.
I saw that.
About the only religious group that ain't got busted with systemic child predation were probably Scientology. And I ain't saying they haven't done it, because I know as soon as I go home before we go on the air next week. But I say the only large-scale organized religion in the United States.
Shout out to Scientology.
I can't even say the Muslims.
Shout out to Scientology, leading by example.
Yes, Scientology. So if you want a non-sexual predatory religion,
come to death row.
If you don't want pastor, come
all in the video, taking all the women.
This is a serious topic.
Come to Scientology. We treat you right.
Come to Scientology.
We treat you right.
Where if you have young children,
customer's always right.
If you have vulnerable children, raise them up in the light of Zeno, because Farrakhan's a Scientologist.
A lot of abuse happens in the youth ministries, in the children's ministries.
Yes.
With youth pastors.
Yes. Farrakhan's a Scientologist. Maybe that's why he joined Scientology.
I always heard you say that. But did he actually join the Church of Scientology? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying
I'm wrong one time, and now you question.
You're the only person I've ever heard say that.
Oh, you didn't hear Farrakhan say it?
Not to say. I can't say that I pay a lot of attention to Farrakhan. What I'm saying is that you are one of the only people that I've heard connect the nation to Scientology. That's all.
I didn't connect the nation to Scientology.
That said it. I didn't say you connect.
Farrakhan said it. Farrakhan said it.
He says a lot of things.
Come on.
How old is Farrakhan?
He's infinite. Look, his hair is jet black.
First of all,
his hair is jet black.
Bean pies have been good to a black man.
Grown hair, I say he's ageless.
Bean pies have been good to the Asiatic black man.
You know, Farrakhan forced every member of the NOI to get audited. So you want to hear from the prophet's mouth? I
don't care.
From the
minister, say it.
He's Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard. Let's see.
Attaching the nation to the Church of Scientology.
I don't lie, man. I don't make stuff up.
I don't mind the criticism.
He doesn't mind the criticism.
I know that you don't understand.
I ain't got a lot, Craig.
I have been taking a lot of criticism. No. It's all right. It's all right. For attaching the nation to the Church of Scientology.
You said it yourself.
Yeah. Where you been
I don't mind the criticism.
Where you been at?
First of all, let's talk about the suit.
I know that you don't understand.
You notice they don't wear the bow tie. Since they stopped wearing the bow ties, they ain't been right.
First of all, I got the cream suit on.
Unfortunately, you are a people that dispute without knowledge.
Woo! Oh, stupid. You Negroes are dumb. First of all, let's talk about how the fact that his hair remains black. Is he using just for me? Is he using dark and lovely?
No,
Farrakhan?
that's Allah. He's using Allah. He's using 1 meal a day.
Just for me.
Bean pies, 1 meal a day. Bean pies.
He got that Duke
no
texturizer
swine.
kit.
No,
He got that Duke texturizer kit. The sporting waves popping.
Remember, Farrakhan and Malcolm X said, when you come back under the blessings of Allah, he will make your hair texture the same texture as your eyelashes.
Allah got a lot of benefits. I'm not gonna lie.
Allah will soften.
Is Islam the religion where if you die you get 133,000 virgins? Is that
no? Only 22.
Is that Jehovah?
Only 22.
Only 22,000?
Forget it.
I've always had a problem with that because if I'm going to spend eternity with these women, they need to be experienced.
You got eternity.
I want 22,000 porn stars.
You got eternity to hook them up though.
I want you to be already ready so we can even go further. If I got to sit all day and praise another man all day, I don't want to have to teach. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired from the harps. I'm tired from all of the praising. I want to come home to Jasmine Cashmere, Roxy Reynolds.
Who's that?
Jada.
Who?
Huh? These are ebony, legendary porn stars. Do not shame sex work, bro.
Write those names down, and I'll
do not
Google
shame
later,
sex work. I will write them down. Okay, Jasmine Cashmere, Roxy Reynolds.
Are you naming people I don't know?
Jada Fire.
You're sitting there, hey, give me my pen. You don't touch. Let me. Where the wipes at?
That's cold, man. I'm just saying. If I'm gonna be stuck forever with them,
and can you move your laptop a little further that way?
Man, come on. I'm just saying. He's right.
He's
just
off the
man. He know. Don't tell me you don't know. You know.
Saying, listen, my wife told me don't let you bring me down.
Oh, that's how am I bringing you down?
I'm Ralph Chessman. You Bobby Brown.
Oh wow. That's cold, man. When did she say that, man?
I'm just trying to hold.
When did she say that? Don't let Biddle bring you down.
Like we the Clips. I'm the brother with the short haircut. You the brother with the braids.
Don't act like you don't know who they are, man. Let's not shame sex workers. All labor has. Dr. King said all labor has dignity. We're not shaming sex workers.
Sex workers.
I'm just saying.
I just don't want you putting your hands on my pen. I don't want your laptop that close to me.
Oh man!
Did you get into the studio Wi-Fi? I don't want no. Did you get into?
I'm just saying, man. If you're gonna stick me up with 22,000 women, I'm not teaching.
You know who got the best afterlife?
They got to be tough,
hands down. You know who got the best afterlife of them all?
Who?
The Mormons.
Tell me.
If I'm gonna join any church, I'm gonna be a moron. Moron.
Was that a Freudian
slip? Mormon heaven? Mm-hmm. In Mormon heaven, you get your own planet.
How can you beat that?
To govern. You become the God. In fact, the Mormons suspect that the planet Earth, the God of planet Earth, is a former Mormon from another planet.
Say it again.
The Mormon afterlife is you get your own planet to govern as you see fit.
That's great.
And everything on that planet. You don't just get virgins. You get women.
I get everything.
You get crocodiles.
I get everything.
You get parakeets, polar bears. You get viruses and bacteria.
I get fiat, unlimited fiat.
If that's how you want to
govern
your planet.
That's how you want to govern your planet?
My planet would be cowrie shell currency.
Man, it would have 2 inhabitants.
Starting off, but then when they get to humping.
Mingo be like, I'm not coming.
She ain't gotta come. If she was a good Mormon woman, I would have half a dozen wives to come help me build my.
I get my own planet. I can name it anything I want.
Yes, you get your own planet.
Man,
I told you the Mormon got the flyest
afterlife. That's the flyest care package.
About,
let's talk. Yeah, that's the flyest
of gold.
You don't want about that.
22 virgins.
I got my own planet.
I'm talking
about all the women.
Planet. Exactly. So
that's a great benefits package. Shout out to the Mormons. Shout out to the Mormon Church.
The morons.
They got a great benefit package. If you're looking to join a new religion, check them out.
Yeah,
because they just topped the 22,000 virgins. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned,
get billions,
man.
So anyway, we've never opened the phones. We've never ever opened the phone. So before we go into the main topic of the day, the main topic.
We didn't hit the main topic already?
No.
Is that
So
evangelical
the topic,
purity culture?
The topic is black love versus white purity.
Got it.
How have puritanical Western values impacted black love, black intimate relationships, the views of black men and women between each other? So I wanted to talk about.
I like that.
Purity cultures. I see black men talking about black women being used up. I see black women talking about black men being, what do they say about us?
First of all, we're trash.
Yeah, we're trash.
Let's start there. We're trash. We are garbage.
We're
toxic.
We all see
Yeah.
how being under white domination and white hegemony has impacted black people's consciousness. But then we tend to not really look into that as we deal with. So I'm gonna say the phone number real slow, and we're gonna see if the call in work, right? So the number to call in is 312-985-7834. That's 312-985-7834. And you can be our first caller into the politics. Y'all keep it so cold in the studio, man.
First of all, I love it.
It's because all this damn equipment. Putting
machine
material things over human comfort.
It gotta be. What you talking? It's summertime.
It's cold in here in the winter and summer. It's cold in here year round.
It feels great.
You'll see when the winter comes.
Oh, well. Get a nice cardigan like you.
No, don't bite my cardigan. Go back to your hoodies. Don't bite off of me.
You don't want me to elevate.
No.
You do. You gatekeeping cardigans?
Yes.
It's always your own people, man.
Yeah.
It's always your own people.
But anyway, 312-985.
312. Can you?
7834.
Is there any way we could put it on the
let me put
on the header?
Yeah. So
call in.
We have the option. And just see if it works, because we haven't call in. What's the number?
Church services start with that Missy Elliott song, Get Your Free Call. They're like, we gotta start. Let's revolutionize and embrace our sexuality and stop having people in the closet doing all type of nasty shit. Let's bring it all to the front and deal with it, man.
There's been scientific research as to why humans tend to do sexual intercourse and intimacy in secluded spaces.
Okay. What does the science suggest?
Most mammals.
I saw some people on the Brooklyn subway getting busy.
It's inconclusive why most cultures have determined that. Oh, let me just fix that. Why most cultures have determined that sexual intercourse and sexual intimacy should be a hidden thing that's hidden away, that's not done publicly. And their theories are arriving at is because when humans have sexual intercourse, when our ancestors, our primordial ancestors, the man apes, the Astrakhan,
you believe in
Parithicus,
I come from Adam and
if you accept the evidence, they don't ask you to believe anything.
I come from Adam.
If you accept the evidence of that versus reject the evidence. They said that because when we have intercourse, we tend to be very vulnerable to predation.
That's how
it's hard to look out and focus on. So human primates in our early evolution would go into caves and other secluded areas to have intercourse in order to not be preyed upon. And as we started to develop culture and practice cultural rituals, it just kind of stuck. So most of modern human behaviors are derived from evolutionary
right. You might rob me
holdovers.
You might rob me from my grains and oats.
Right.
While I'm doing the wild thing.
Well, no,
makes
come
sense.
and eat you.
Or come eat me.
You can't guard your grains while you
That's what I'm saying.
No,
that's
so
why you gotta do it privately, because if I'm in the public just doing my thing, I'm vulnerable to attacks, theft. You'll steal my $2 million tabernacle.
And then some
in the church.
Some cultures view breast as sexual, mammary glands as sexual,
and functional.
Other cultures deem mammary glands as just a non-sexual part, like they don't. Women aren't required to cover. There's a really good book on all of this. They talk about a lot of the quirks of society.
Yeah.
Called Cows, Pigs, and Witches.
Cows, pigs, and witches.
And I hate using Amazon, but it's just the quickest way. Cows, pigs, and witches, the riddles of culture. And it kind of explains, how you have people that say we do this because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And this is the tradition. This is the right way.
That's how we do it.
Well, this book basically talks about, like some cultures, they see cows as sacred.
Yeah.
Some cultures eat pork. Other cultures see
pork as vile and
I always leave
dirty.
out war when I name cows, pigs, wars, and riches. So this book is a really accessible. It's not too academic. It's written in kind of like colloquial, casual terms. It's not too heady, and it basically explains why various cultures and civilizations, why you do. Because I've always thought that, like, why do we do this instead of that? Why do we have money? And why do we deem money so necessary and essential to life?
Right.
Why do men play this role, women play that role? And a lot of things we think come from God or just natural, so it's just an interesting book if you want to know.
So how has white purity in church?
Oh, so we going into the topic.
Let's go into the topic.
Okay.
I think, first of all, it's a great topic.
Yes.
Because, and you have differing schools of thought every day. Like there's some days where people are having sex on the Brooklyn subway system. And then you have brothers talking about how they want a woman with less than 5 bodies.
That's the going rate.
Look, if you are a woman,
yes,
over 5 to 10 bodies, you are considered a leftover, used up, community property.
Right.
You are community property.
How do men verify?
Well, they take a test.
Really?
Yes, a quiz.
Like T.I. would take his daughter to the hospital.
First
and
of all,
check her hymen.
I'm checking your circumference. What is that looking like?
That's not scientific.
What are the flaps looking like? Well, this is what people think, man. You know what I'm saying? They talk about soul ties. They talk about the DNA left in women from men doing their thing. And they're looking for women with less than 5 bodies.
Why 5?
Because to them, that's a respectable number of a woman that is of chaste,
experience,
of purity.
Is this for a woman that you intend to reproduce with, or just a woman you're going to be in a relationship whether you reproduce or not?
So this is the thing. When you're just out here doing your thing, you can deal with the women with the multiple bodies, the freaks. When men get done freaking around, they want to come back to a woman that is not that sexually experienced, because that proves to them that they're a high value woman because they take their body seriously.
But I'm asking, like somebody,
it's the key and lock theory.
I'm asking for my own, because I'm a middle-aged man, radical uncle, right?
Yeah.
If my wife ever stopped being the submissive helpmeet that God created her to be, and I had to leave her, and I'm on the dating scene, hypothetically, I'm on the dating scene.
Oh man, I would love to see you.
Would I,
on the dating
in order to maintain my alpha status, because I don't intend to have any more children.
Okay.
So ladies, it's shut down. Go on, scratch me off your hashtag goals.
It's powdered dust now.
I'm just done. I just
powdered sugar right now.
I have 2 sons. I raised them, and I'm done. Right. So because I don't intend to, I would imagine if I was to get into another relationship, would I have to follow the 5 body rules? Or because I don't intend, is this just for women you intend to reproduce with, or any woman you intend to have a long-term relationship?
So the woman that you are going to marry and make children with, they have to have a certain body count.
But if I'm dating for not to have children,
they can have as many bodies as possible, because we are just here to play. I just came here to
let's
chill.
say you don't want to play. You want to have a long-term intimate relationship.
That leads to marriage.
Yeah, you're gonna marry.
You're gonna,
but no children.
No children. Yeah. So you gotta find somebody that still doesn't have a lot of bodies. That's the thinking.
What does if a woman does have the bodies?
Yes.
How does that make her for?
She's a hoe. That's what they say.
Okay.
If a woman has a lot of bodies, she's a hoe. She's undisciplined. She shared her yanni with the community, and we are not simping and saving these women who are out here freaking.
What is the negative results of having more than 5 partners?
The negative results is that you are someone of ill repute that I cannot trust. You are a leftover.
Are you properly representing this?
First of all, I am not lying to you. Like the body count, as immature as the conversation is, it's a prevalent discussion with men. Body counts.
Well, I went to this Muslim group before they blocked me.
Yeah.
and they posted a question to this this is Muslim men's group. I don't remember the name of it.
MMG.
No, that wasn't the name. It was just that's who was invited to engage in the discussion.
Yeah.
And they posted how much experience could a woman have before she is considered ruined.
Mm-hmm.
And some men
soiled,
and it went from virgins up to there is no number, because it's really about if she repents and she cleanses herself spiritually, then there is no upper number.
It's like a spiritual.
So I've never heard the consensus of 5.
Usually they're looking for something in the single digits.
What's the number for a man to be ran through?
There is no number.
There's no upper number.
That's a double standard. We can do what we want.
We
can smash anything we want.
I don't want to talk about. I just want to the reason. Maybe if you know, call us 985-7834. If you are a woman who has standards, are virginal men more desired, and why aren't virginal men more desirable?
It's not cool to be a male virgin
amongst men.
You get clowned.
Do women value that?
That's a good question.
Do women value a man who has saved himself? Remember that weird ass basketball player?
I don't think there's a requirement for them. I think it's just, are you a good guy? Women know men are out here getting it in. They're not holding men to this standard of purity. Men are not holding other men to that standard. I don't think women are holding men to that standard. I don't think they care.
Remember AC Green?
Yeah, he was a virgin. He was a pro NBA basketball player for the Los Angeles Lakers when Irvin Magic Johnson was in there getting it in like Luke from 2 Live Crew.
Right.
He disciplined himself.
Right.
City to city, state to state, and remained a virgin.
Right.
Throughout his NBA career.
Right.
Yeah.
And he went on Oprah.
That's also why his jumper was broke.
I've never.
He couldn't shoot. Too wound up.
Is he still a virgin?
I think he got married.
So he has had sex.
I assume if he's married, he's been getting it in.
Yes. Well,
or maybe he's doing semen retention.
On Oprah when I was a child.
That's
right?
the thing now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that.
Semen retention.
The science of semen retention that will give you superhuman power if you do not.
And we got some semen
seed.
retention artists and life coaches out there as well on Instagram.
You heard of Mantak Chia?
No.
Sexual kung fu.
Kung fu. But on Oprah. Sorry, you said
he went on Oprah.
Yeah.
And Oprah announced that he was an NBA star and a virgin, and he got a standing ovation.
That's great.
And as a child, I did not understand why him being a virgin was worthy of a standing ovation. Like that's literally doing nothing. That's like not doing. But I guess they're saying for
showing
him,
discipline.
Did he want to have sex?
We don't know that. See, that's the
he
question.
could have been asexual.
He could have been asexual.
But then, do you get credit that if you're not a person who is oriented towards intimacy and intercourse for not having sex?
Well, virgins in the church society are highly coveted.
Yes.
Virgin Mary, like that's the divine conception of God, that sex was not used. Like Joseph had to go around saying a ghost banged up my woman.
That's because the Abrahamic God is a homosexual. He wrestled with Abraham. It's Pride Month. He wrestled with Abraham for several hours.
Happy Pride Month to all of our LGBTQIAP brothers and sisters and folks of other pronouns across the diaspora. Happy Pride Month.
I'm not going to wish Happy Pride Month because it is a corporate bastardization of a legitimate struggle.
All right, they're selling Juneteenth pies and cakes.
Exactly, and that's why I'm not going to be here.
Happy Pride Month.
Wishing y'all happy
Get you
Juneteenth either.
And Juneteenth, get you a red velvet cheesecake ice cream from Walmart.
I'll be in New
Celebrate
York on
black
Juneteenth.
People. What's going on in New York on Juneteenth?
Hopefully I can get some Haitian mangoes. I've been to New York the last 3 times. I've been to New York and there are no goddamn Haitian mangoes. Y'all let them gentrify
supply chain, man. Supply chain issues.
On. This is before. I've been there before. That was the only good thing about
Maybe
New York.
They see you coming and they're like, tell him there are no Haitian mangoes.
I go to the damn Korean markets.
Are you just going to visit?
I go to Harlem.
Teach? What you do? It's a personal trip.
I'm gonna be there settling scores. I plan to.
The big payback.
No, let me stop saying that before they stop me at the airport. I have business to take care of, and I got some meetings.
There you go.
And
big payback. Yalla has come back. It's like a blaxploitation movie. He's back.
And I'll be at the Harlem Juice Bar eating veggie burgers.
Hey, veggie burgers.
I'll be there on Juneteenth. And then I'm supposed to be going. Somebody called me today and invited me to Zimbabwe.
Are you going?
I don't know. It could be a setup because I talked about Mugabe like a dog.
They want to settle some old scores. They're waiting for you. Drop your ass into Zimbabwe and get the beats by Dre.
Shout out to Zimbabwe. Africa liberate Zimbabwe.
The thing, so when men talk about this phenomenon, if you want to keep it real, I know a lot of brothers who went and married the young lady that they thought was pure and was less sexually experienced than other women that they were dealing with. And then they cheated on them with the women who had the bodies.
Well, in the Christian, Islamic, and Hebrew faiths,
you can have side pieces.
It is acceptable that men are driven by lust, and that women are the embodiment of lust. So actually, the lust in men is provoked by women. That's why the hijab and the long skirts and the Muslim, all these religions require women to cover themselves.
We can't control
men, right?
But it's like a compartmentalized desire,
right?
Because you have this woman for like a specific. It's like a business reason because you look good on paper. Because that's essentially what it is. You're help me. You look good on paper.
Breeding stock.
But sexually, I'm attracted to the woman that knows what she's doing, that has that essence to her.
Well, that was the purpose of concubines.
You see how that's worked out.
And in the dominant culture that rules this nation, women were viewed as property and breeding stock.
No doubt.
They were they're property of the fathers.
Yes.
And they were breeding stock of their husband.
Right.
And those remnants, when African men were defined as men by the constitutional amendment,
when we were kings,
we began to mimic the white men,
the puritanical culture.
And this is a puritanical culture and puritanical values. And in the Bible, where it talks about the Jezebels, the Lilith, the unseemly woman versus purity, I conclude that the delusion of sexual purity is why so many of these religions, these formalized religions, men prey on young girls. Farrakhan said, and I quote, "The reason why men prey on their daughters is because the women become their wives gain weight, become less attractive, they age, and their attitude,
stretch marks,
and they said that your daughter looks like your wife did when you met her."
Yeah.
And so because women are not properly submissive to men and do not maintain their figures after women and working,
essentially they're no longer desirable.
Farrakhan said this is why a lot of fathers mess with their daughters, and by mess he means assault them.
Jesus.
And when I said this, a bunch of cult members, and you have cult members who are members of the cult, but you also have members of the cult of personality, came to me and said that I'm lying. So I posted the video, just like I did for you. I posted the video of the man saying those words, and then they said I'm misinterpreting what was said. So
what was their interpretation? I'm curious to see what
they never said their interpretation. Just like when he said the nation killed Malcolm, that Malcolm was a traitor, and the nation did.
And if we did with a traitor, what's the business of yours?
Listen, I don't make up stuff and I don't lie. I do make mistakes. And the moment someone demonstrates me that I'm mistaken, because I didn't know this list existed. I was speculating that the reason why even though there was rampant sexual predation within the Protestant churches, the reason it's not as well known as the Catholics, because the Catholics had records and the Baptists didn't keep records.
Yeah.
But it turns out the Baptists did keep records.
First of all, they got all the records.
And the moment that I found out, and this came out, this story is about 3 days old.
Yeah.
And the moment I found out, I'm like, Got to change my assertion. So, you know, if I'm saying something,
that's what I ain't
like saying
you,
it's
man.
infallible.
You're presented with new evidence. You
change.
Go there.
Yeah, I'm ready to change. I'm ready to change. That's how I became a victim of the gay agenda.
Some of the biggest freaks are in the church, no doubt.
Predators.
Stop hiding.
Predators.
Come to the light.
It's illegal. They go to jail. What are you talking about? Come to the light. They hide light. Because it's illegal. And, you know, I have an aunt that used to say, very wisest woman I've ever known in my life. She said the worst people in the world work in 3 different professions.
Mm-hmm.
They work with women.
Mm-hmm.
No, she said they work with children. They work with the elderly, and they work with animals. People with predatory inclinations tend to try to find professions where they work with children, elderly, and animals, because those are some of the most vulnerable people in any society. Even if you have a relatively balanced and just society, the most vulnerable people, children, elderly, and animals that don't have a voice. And not saying that there aren't other vulnerable populations. She said you have to watch people that go to them, and the church got the old folks and the young folks on lock. That's all church was. When my grandmother took me to church and got me baptized, it was old folks and children, parents and grandkids.
How old when you were baptized?
12.
So was I. It's like I was 13.
They be christening newborns.
Yeah.
And I believed, man. I believed that shit. I believe that shit. I read my Bible. I went to Bible study. I went to church. I truly believe.
I went to Bible school in the summertime. Bible camp.
Omnibenevolent, omnipotent presence in my life, watching everything, knowing my unclean thoughts. I believed. I used to sit in the church while the pastor sat up there, and I used to look at the pastor, and I envied him because I'm like, he knows he's going to heaven. I, as a 12-year-old, sitting here thinking I'm going to burn forever in torment because I've yet to master or properly conduct myself as a Christian child.
Yeah, you're a rookie. You know the ins and
I had unclean thoughts.
Yeah.
I would say I would constantly sin. I was in constant state of seeking forgiveness for my sins. I was born in sin. I was a natural born sinner, and the only way through salvation was through Christ. And it seems like everything that my 12 to 13-year-old physiology was driving me towards as I was growing into puberty and sexual maturity. And it was the first time as a 12-year-old I'm able to go out and hang out with my friends and function independent of my grandmother and my guardian.
Do my thing.
And so all the things that I was drawn towards, many of the things
were sinful.
Were sinful.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought as a child that these and back then, you know, they have the Left Behind series.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 80s and 90s, they had that same thing. At the same time, we were dealing with nuclear hellfire. And I really would envision myself burning for eternity. And I'd go to church, and that son of a bitch would get up there and say, "You ever touch your hand on the stove? And you have to pull it away, and that's hot. And just imagine putting your hand on the stove and you can't pull it away. And it's not just your hand; it's your whole body."
That's a go-to.
And he would give these
go-to
fire
sermon
and brimstone, and
it's
psychological abuse. I always say, when white people burn black churches, that's racism. When black people start burning black churches, that's revolution. And people try to like, "Oh, it's my own personal belief. Why are you judging me for my beliefs?" Ain't nothing personal about your beliefs. Generations after children, there are children right now being psychologically tortured. For every one child that is physically abused in the church, beaten because the Bible says spare the rod and all that rhetoric, because the Bible says you are to kill disobedient children. For every one child that experiences physical abuse, there's 1,001 that experiences psychological torture and self-loathing because of the church. And this whole concept of purity, where if you are sexually experienced, sexual maturity, sexual curiosity makes you dirty and unclean, drives a lot of men to saying, "I need something as white as snow. I want me to have a Virgin Mary." If Virgin is the mother of God,
virgins.
And if God can impregnate an underage teenage girl without her consent, Maybe if I do the same thing, I'm being godlike.
So was Joseph a simp?
Joseph
He'd be considered a simp in his day because he was walking around.
Is a fictional character.
Right. But was he considered a simp? He would probably be considered a simp today.
No,
that wasn't your baby.
Actually, Father's Day is coming up, right?
Yes. It's on Juneteenth.
In some Catholic countries, Father's Day is called St. Joseph's Day.
Really? So he's the father.
He was a man who was noble enough, because he could have had Mary stoned.
Yeah.
He could have had Mary stoned. She
would have been out of there.
He could have ripped her clothes off and thrown her into the street.
But he stepped up.
But he stepped up and raised Jesus. And depending on what sect of Christianity, if you're Catholic, you believe Mary had Jesus, was born and died a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
If you are part of the Eastern Orthodox and some sects of baptism, you say that Joseph got his after God. You ever heard of prima nocta?
Yes. Was that when the Lords would, you get married, and before you do your thing and consummate your marriage, the first night, I'm breaking it in.
That's what God did
prima
to Joseph.
nocta.
And some people say some people say Jesus had siblings and Mary wasn't a virgin.
Yeah,
some people say that Mary was a virgin.
Yeah,
but I do believe that this purity nonsense that comes from
here you go, Joseph,
our Christian indoctrination, seeking a pure woman, and men being relieved of our own obligation for our own sexual drives and impulses because of our sinful nature, because God mandated us to be fruitful and multiply. I think that rhetoric is deep-seated in a lot of African-centered men, a lot of conscious Black men. When you talk to them about their views on sexuality, they are Western puritanical. They are Eurocentric AF when it comes to their value system, even though they got all the African garb and African rhetoric.
Very capitalist. But I think it's having the woman that you marry, you want her sexual identity to be linked to you. So you don't want them coming into the marriage with their own healthy sexual identity and desires and things that you want to be the molder of that woman's sexuality.
I don't need to be.
I'm just saying I think the men who want a woman at a certain limited body range, that's what they want.
Right. And the more you talk to these men, the more these men in their 30s and 40s and 50s talking this nonsense, the more you start to say, hey, this sounds like a predatory mindset. I want someone who is inexperienced.
Beneath me.
I want someone that I can mold.
Mm-hmm.
There's another word for molding called grooming.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't care if it's the Islamic, even Buddhist, all of these cultures and mind states that have this concept of purity through inexperience, through in the less sexually mature a woman is, either physically or socially, the less exposed and experienced a woman is, the more she is valued.
Yeah.
That is what feeds a lot of this predation on girls. Because a lot of the characteristics you see a lot of men value in women are characteristics of a child.
Yeah.
Pure, inexperienced, untouched.
It's nasty. Yeah.
And I know a few guys. I knew one guy. He was more of the Eastern. He was a disciple of Mantak Chia. He was one of the first people that I knew practice semen retention. He was an abstinent dude. And so all of the practices and values that he had, he wanted in his woman.
Yeah, no doubt.
He would fast. He was really get off on self-denial. He would fast and not eat. He would sit in quiet meditation for hours and hours. The dude was just really into that. And so he wanted a woman. He was a member of the Asar Set Society, and the Asar Set wasn't limiting enough. It wasn't more disciplined enough. So then he switched over to the Fahami Temple. And so if a dude like that is like, I want a woman who is a virgin, who is unsexed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. Because me, I want a vegan woman, right? I only, as I
some people like their ice cream plain.
when I first became a vegan, I didn't only date vegan women.
Okay.
But it became increasingly hard for me to sit across from a woman eating a dead animal carcass like you posted on Instagram.
So what? Come on, man.
And it became hard. So I was like, listen, if I'm going to be able to be in a long-term relationship, she's going to have to be vegan. Because I mean, it would just be an ongoing poison pill. It would be a constant conflict. Not that I'm saying you got to
have the same issue when Mingo was pescatarian when you first met her. Did you have it like?
Yes.
Was it the same thing as watching somebody eat a meat carcass?
Yes, I tell my boys all the time. I tell them, on our very first date, your mother sat across from me and ate a dead fish. And my youngest son used to be so disappointed. He'd look at her, and then so she goes and tell them, your son was raised on chitlins and hog mogs and scrapple, eating all that Southern bunk Missouri food. That he ate possum and raccoon. So she go and snitch on me. So we sometimes so toxic. Anyway, what was I saying?
And then she stepped up. She stepped it up.
Right. So I would have respect a dude that's saying, I am chaste. I'm celibate.
I'm a man of
and this is what
bodies.
I seek in a partner.
And I seek a similar person as my partner.
Yeah, because I knew a dude who did that. And
Okay.
he got with a woman that was chaste.
Okay.
And celibate.
Right.
She told him she was.
Oh.
She ended up giving him an STD and leaving him for her ex. But
damn,
I respect. I'm saying that
sharing is caring,
right?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell people go vegan, and people be like, "You need to grow your own food," and I'm like, "Why are you asking?"
Oh yeah.
But here's the thing:
grow your own shit.
I don't advocate for anybody to do more than what I'm willing or able or currently doing.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that, that's called a poor faith argument.
Okay.
If you say to me, bro, Diallo, when you drive home, you should drive the speed limit. You should be a responsible driver to keep yourself safe and the other people on the road safe. And I'm like, well, you should walk everywhere you want to go. I don't walk. So that is a poor faith argument. So anyway, but when I see a man that's like, it is my nature, it is my right, it is my lineage or whatever to go after as many women as I want, and I expect the woman that I link with to be chaste, to be pure. That to me goes from if you are trying to impose something on your partner that you don't live out yourself,
no doubt,
that seems
like hypocrite.
Worse than hypocrisy, because we know where the pure women are, and this is backed up by too many years of evidence.
Yeah,
that men that have this mindset, some it's born out of religion, some it's from their culture. It's not even the religion, it's the secular value system, social value, that they prey on vulnerable women and girls because of this hang up or this confusion about sexual anatomy, sexual physiology, sexual development, and sexual values in terms of what makes a person used up or what makes a person of poor or high value. And it's also born out of, objectification.
I remember the abstinence only movements of the 90s and 2000s, and in working with, progressive women groups who were trying to make sure that comprehensive sexual education was still allowed in the school and protection and things of that nature. And when you listen to their testimonies at the legislative bill hearings, they sounded like idiots.
All right. Well, there has been sociological research. I won't bore you with the numbers, but they find that this concept of purity, when you have this notion of purity, when you have a community or a church or a culture that place this premium on women's sexual purity, it becomes basically a hunting ground for sexual predators, and women can't speak up because, like T.I., if your hymen is broken, you're less valuable. So it creates an open ground for predators, because women that are born into these cultures or into these belief systems are less likely to report being preyed upon or abused, because they also feel, number one, that they are the source of the man's lust, and also that they will be devalued. And there are even predators who threaten their victims by saying, hey, if you tell that, they'll know you're used up.
Right.
And in the evangelical movement, it's called used up gum. You ever see that documentary Jesus Camp?
No.
Where they say it's used up gum. like you are a chewed up piece of gum. Would you rather have a fresh piece of gum, or would you rather have a piece of gum that was chewed up
somebody
by
else's mouth,
which has nothing to do? And then you say like this, like men leave their spirit, the woman carries around the DNA of every man she ever slept with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, and the fact that this all is traced back to, number one, the myth of sexual conquest, of colonization, the inherent sinfulness of women bringing sin into the world, and nakedness being aware of our nudity being a result of original sin.
Original sin, yeah. How did you know you weren't clothed?
Right.
Because you ate the apple.
Right. And they said that nudity is sinful, and then they go to Africa and topless women. They come to the new world, see these topless women, bottomless women, where there's no shame in the nudity, and white people walking through the jungles with collars up to here,
looking at
sleeves, dying of tropical diseases.
It's like when Bernie. Do you ever see Players Club?
No.
Bernie Mac was the owner of a strip club.
If I rise up, it's gonna be trouble. I saw that on YouTube. Trouble.
He said, way back in Africa in the jungle, women in the nude, bucky naked. Yeah, we had it right.
But we weren't in the jungles.
We had it right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that's what he said.
Yeah, I know.
But we had it right.
Yeah. But I don't think we could ever return.
No, we're never going back.
The Instagram corruption of the human form, the association of the human form with uncleanliness and sinfulness is so deeply ingrained. I go amongst, like I said, people who claim they want to overcome Western culture, who want to fight back against the system.
They just want a more comfortable seat at the table of white supremacy.
So we didn't get any calls.
Can I get a couple more biscuits? I don't know. Did we?
Did anybody try to call? Okay, I just opened up the phone thing. You see any calls?
No, I do not.
Okay.
We'll keep trying.
Yeah.
312-985-7834.
Going across the screen. If you want to call in and see if the call in worked, give your thoughts on how pure are you, how pure was your partner. We're heading into the last hour.
I don't even understand the conversation sometimes that people have about relationships. First of all, a lot of you dudes aren't going to church. You haven't been to church in years, but all of a sudden you have these very conservative church standards for your women. That's ridiculous to me.
I can't even front though. I held on to Judeo-Christian beliefs and standards long after I became an atheist.
Really?
I didn't understand how deep my own indoctrination was. And I would look out, and this is what a lot of people do when they become conscious.
Yeah.
I looked at all the external things. So when I started becoming conscious, I looked at society and all the things fucked up about society. I looked at the church. I looked at my own community and all the dysfunction and maladaptation. But one of the last places I took a critical examination was myself. And like really look into myself, like, my own motivations, drives, beliefs, conclusions.
Yeah.
And so when I really started doing internal critique, I'm like, wow, I got a lot of things held over. And I used to have a friend, shout out to Chet.
Was there some watershed moment that made you say, wow, I'm still holding on to it? Like,
I wish there was.
Yeah.
I wish there was one event that was like a but it was a evolution. I call it a process of a counter indoctrination, because a lot of things that our oppressors put into us, we think were there before. A lot of things we think are ours, that belong to us or come from us, that was injected. And the whole point is to, when you indoctrinate someone and subject them to the process of menticide, is to get them to think that the oppressor wants you to think that his thoughts are your own. Amos Wilson talked quite a bit about that. He was like, I'm independent. Where you have a lot of black people, I like what I like. Like I asked black people, why do you like Jordans?
I like what I like.
Why do you like basketball?
I like what I like.
Right. But
Jordan.
Right. And so
Kobe.
Dudes really think, I just like basketball because that's what I'm into. They don't accept that they were indoctrinated into that, because if they were born into Haiti, they'd be into cricket.
Well,
if
a lot of the stuff is traditions.
Soccer.
It's traditions. Black man traditions. You go into the barbershop, but you gotta talk about basketball. You gotta talk about Kobe. You gotta talk about Jordan.
Was a tradition.
LeBron.
Saying something's a tradition does not justify it.
I'm just saying a lot of these things that we have are the traditions.
Yes.
Traditions that are not challenged.
Exactly. They are traditions, but that doesn't mean they're good, and that doesn't mean you should accept it. In fact, I posted on social media and said, if tradition is your only motivations for doing something, you should stop doing it. If you can't go beyond this is how we always did it, if that's your only argument in favor, you should stop it. I don't even care if it's something good. You know, like my son, both my sons are vegan, been vegan their whole life, right? Mm-hmm. They were raised vegan. And if somebody came to him like, why are you vegan? And he was like, because I was raised vegan. I would tell him, go ahead and eat you a pork chop. Go with Biddle and eat that. What were you eating at your birthday dinner?
It was a steak.
Shame. I need to bring a bell. Shame.
I was like, we'll be
go with
back.
Biddle and have a steak. Because if your only reason, even though I wholeheartedly believe in it, and my son's 19, he can eat whatever the hell he wants.
Right.
He says, I'm gonna continue to be vegan. But if he says why, and he says, come on, mama vegan, my daddy a vegan, I was raised vegan. If that's his only reason, I say stop it.
Don't do it.
You shouldn't be doing it.
Did he move in yet to his new place?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Are you counting the days?
I just saw him walking up the street with boxes. He had called me and was like, Dad, can you come get me? I got some moving boxes. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so busy.
Oh man.
And then he caught me. He busted me.
I
didn't know, I go out and I go the same way. I never bump into him in the streets. I never. He comes, I don't know which way he comes and goes, but when I'm coming and going and he coming and going, we never bump into each other. Just this one day out of over a year, I'm headed up the street and I look up the street and he's like 6'5".
Yeah.
So I see him a mile away. And
he's 6'5" now?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm like, he saw me.
Yeah.
So I can't turn.
You can't turn.
And he had just he called me 2 hours. He said, Dad, I'll be off work in 2 hours. So you're going to be busy? And I'm like, I don't know why. And he's like, I got some boxes. I got some boxes here at work. And I if you could come just swoop through, pick me up so I could get these boxes home. And I'm like, man, 2 hours? Look at the time. No, I won't be there. I told him I'll always be there for you. Except the day he was born. He don't remember the day he was born, though. Boy, I'll always be there for you. And he saw me walking straight to him. And he just gave me that dead stare. And he had them big ass boxes.
Did you feel?
I didn't feel no type of way. No.
Did you feel shame?
Nope. No, I didn't. But he called me. I got busted. You know how much stuff I busted him for the 9 months?
Right, but
I carried you.
First of all, you didn't carry anything.
Charge, huh?
You didn't carry anything.
Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I carried half his goddamn chromosomes.
You didn't carry no baby?
No, so babies. Now you know they said life begins in the testicles. They don't just begin in the womb. They want to ban masturbation.
First of all, moving is very stressful. Yeah. This is one of his first major milestones.
He can't wait.
And getting boxes, that's currency.
I know.
Yeah.
He's talking about buying boxes. I said, boy, if you buy a box,
you don't buy boxes. That's the last sec. That's like if you didn't do your job.
That's how white people move.
You didn't do your job. Unless you know somebody at public storage or U-Haul, you got a coupon.
Right.
Do not buy boxes.
I'm gonna buy some boxes. I'm like, you're not buying boxes. There's boxes everywhere.
That's
true. They got boxes in the storeroom at your job.
That's true.
So
people become really industrial when it's time to move. Really resourceful.
So yeah, he's packing up his room. So he'll be out soon. But dude caught me, man. I got cold busted. But all the times I caught his ass.
Shame.
All the time I caught. We bought a brand new refrigerator during the pandemic, just before the supply chain, right?
Does it play music?
After a week, there's this huge dent. Right in the lower, like 3 inches from the bottom, there's this huge dent.
Yeah.
So I went and grabbed the skateboard, and I put the point of the skateboard and I touched it to the refrigerator, right?
Yeah.
And it was perfect. So one of the boys kicked their skateboard into the refrigerator. I couldn't enjoy that goddamn brand new refrigerator dent free for a week. They didn't give me a week on it. So that's why I didn't go pick him up. But I think
you held it against him.
It was I think it was his brother that did it, but it don't matter. I'm into collective punishment. This is not a democracy; it's a dictatorship.
Well, it's got to be an exciting time for him, though. At least,
Yeah, well, I mean, he got all A's and 1 B in college.
That's great.
I think that's part of his rebellion.
That's great.
Because we said we expect you to get all A's in college. He was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get this B. And then he stepped to the president of his university to object about the university allowing military and police recruitment.
Good job.
And he said that when he applied to this university, part of the literature talked about social justice and equity was part of the mission of the university. And he said, how can you have the Chicago Police Department and have the university allowing for military and police recruitment and still have social justice and equity and all this progressive literature?
I like that.
For incoming students. And me and his mother was like, oh boy, you're president. Now you know damn well that's a good school. They've been good to us, boy. You better watch. And it's like, okay,
he did his thing.
Be hardcore. If you're gonna be hard,
the apple does not fall far from the tree, they said.
I don't think I ever stepped to a president of my universe. I don't know. It was a long time ago.
So he's carrying the culture forward.
Yeah,
I love it.
That was his first. Now he
got his own place, and his
his
daddy won't help him with boxing.
He completed his freshman year at the university.
It's always your own people.
So, and he got all A's and 1 B to spite his mother and I.
It's great.
Yeah, but we don't care about grades as long as he gets good grades.
Amen.
It's like, boy, I don't care. Grades ain't nothing. That ain't the measure of you. As long as they're good grades, we don't care. But I don't care. Yeah, that's him. But yeah, he's a grown ass man.
So you don't ever see black people breaking away from Judeo-Christian puritanical standards of sexuality?
I think there will be a time where there is not one black Christian on the planet. There was a time in the not too recent future where there were very few to none black Christians, and I think that time will come again. And there was probably a conversation the Africans were having, maybe in 600 BC. And it was like, you think there'll be any Africans who don't worship Zeus? You think there'll be a time where there are no worshippers of Zeus, no members of the cult of Isis?
Man.
Do you think there'll be a time where Africans don't worship Thor?
Did you watch Moon Knight?
And that time, what? Yes, I saw all of Moon Knight. My wife said she'll never watch it again.
What did you think of it?
It's a lot of white folks and Persians and Arabs, and not one black. All these Egyptian gods. So you got African gods choosing white avatar. The black Horus.
They went to the best.
The Horus got a bald head white man as his avatar. Could none of them Egyptian gods gotten a black avatar? So we just sitting there shaking.
It's like that movie Gods of Egypt that came out.
I saw that too.
With all white guys.
That shit was wild. Woo!
I said, wow.
I want a black.
You're brazy with
I
it.
want a white.
Brazen.
I want to make a movie with Thor,
all black Norse guys,
and Zeus, and Greek,
all black
and
Norse
Roman,
guys. Yeah,
all black, black as hell. I want Athena twerking.
And guess what? Thor's gonna have cornrows
in the new Thor movie.
Yeah, no, we're gonna make our own in our own mythology. Thor's gonna have cornrows.
I watched. They had Wakanda in there, Black Panther. He was Ptah. Yes.
Okay.
So they did have at least Gods of Egypt did
That's
better.
True.
Did a better job.
That's true.
Well,
in Wakanda, all the dead kings were frolicking around in the ancestral land, the Panther land. What do they call it? The Panther afterlife. Remember you eat the purple heart herb. Then you go see all of the old Panther kings.
Yeah, those were black. They were all
they're all black. Yeah. Shout out to Wakanda. Keeping it real.
But they were all black. But yeah, they were some. But yeah, so if you didn't want to see,
I'm gonna have Odin eating chitlins.
If you didn't go see Gods of Egypt because you were mad about the white gods,
please
there
don't
was
see
an African god.
Hey, we got one, baby.
He was good too. So I watched it. There was an African god.
He's the first black African god.
He played Ptah. So
representation matters.
Yes. Oh no, he played Thoth. Okay, that show you I wasn't paying attention. Okay, he paid the god Thoth.
Forgive you.
So he paid Thoth. So, and there he is being hung. Wasn't that Horus? There he is being accosted by Horus. So yeah, there was a black god in Gods of Egypt. He played Thoth, not Ptah.
Who was the actor that played him? Because he looks a little bit like Chadwick.
That is Chadwick. That's Chadwick. I told you the Black Panther.
Dude, Chadwick has played everything.
Yeah, y'all getting all
Jackie
mad.
Robinson.
Y'all want to be mad? Yeah,
James Brown.
That was terrible.
Thurgood Marshall. Black Panther.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
shout out to Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah. So I didn't think we gave Gods of Egypt a chance. I watched that. It was hysterical. White folks are out of their goddamn mind. The sun god was this old frail white man who can't even go spend 15 minutes on the beach. That was crazy. And he was up in this old frail white man. Look at the sun god in Gods of Egypt. Did you see this? You gotta see this movie. That's the sun god. That's Ra.
He don't even look like he could go out in the sun.
Right. He don't look like he could spend a minute on the earth. He was.
If you gotta use how you use a sunscreen, like you the sun guy, but you gotta use sunscreen.
Right. He was on fire, like just old frail white man. I'm like, these white folks is just
you the sun guy, and you need SPF 30 and 15.
Raw. That's raw. Let me tell you something, white folks, the bugger got no shame. When I saw that, I was hysterical.
He's not even young.
This African god.
He don't even look healthy. He look like he got high blood pressure, sugar.
That's his son. When his son
he got issues with insulin. You the sun guy.
Seth. Yes, that's the sun guy.
If you don't get the sun guy, you got to get.
Was on a flaming chariot, carrying the sun through the star. Not 1 ounce of melanin. They couldn't even give him a tan.
Was Tom Cruise in this movie? Was Tom Cruise in the Gods of Egypt?
No.
How you gonna have Gods of Egypt and not have the quintessential white man of Hollywood? Tom Cruise.
We got our call.
Hey, baby.
Hello, caller. You are on. Our first caller to the Politics and BS show. State your name or alias and where you calling from.
My name is Tony. I'm calling from Oakland.
Tony from Old Town.
Hey.
Too short.
Golden State Warriors.
Souls of Mischief.
Souls of Mischief.
Everything. Sorry to stereotype your town. What's up, brother? What you calling about?
40 water.
No, I just wanted to offer some words of encouragement and gratitude for the work that you're doing. I know that it must be mentally exhausting to constantly deal with this crazy stream of misinformation, entwined with centuries of, what you could call infiltration into our own culture, and to try to untwist all these knots. I'm just really grateful that to somebody out there that's bothering to do this work, because, I personally have, sold out or just tapped out of just trying to even,
Did you tap out or sell out? Which one? You said you tapped out or sold out? Which one?
I don't know.
Wait, I can answer this. Where you calling from? What part of Oakland you calling from? We'll know if you sold out. You sure you're not calling from San Francisco? What side of the Bay Bridge are you on?
How many homeless people are around?
Sitting in a San Francisco high-rise penthouse, like, y'all down there.
Hey, brother, you keep doing your thing,
I know
man.
my people still suffering. I know y'all still suffering out
Go
there.
outside and kick a homeless man.
Yeah, as I eat my caviar, it just tears.
Get a job, Grouch. Tony, we appreciate the call, brother. Hey, man, if you listen to us, you ain't sold out. You still in it. You still in it.
I wouldn't have been. There's so many creeps and weirdos and all these people on there talking about, oh, I'm shadow banned. The YouTube algorithm is they against you. You the person. I have listened to so many nut jobs over the years. People that I can't believe it. Like the ones with 1,000 subscribers is getting
paid, brother. They getting paid. Super chat.
But exactly. But I always thought of the internet as being something that was kind of like quasi degenerate anyway. And I would only sort of like, it was something that I kind of thought was beneath me, especially sometimes even with these, when it comes to these black topics, you get people like, Kevin Samuels or Charleston White or, these people popping up to the surface that are just
Charleston White,
man.
But I'm just saying, they're like cartoonishly, and these are the only voices we get. Then when we try to navigate the waters into the conscious people, you got to go through the Twitter weirdos that are just, the quote unquote, all the different,
all the different sects, ADOS, FBA, it's a lot of, I would say this, it's a lot of misinformation that you have to break through to really get correct and precise, historically accurate, scientifically based information. And you can go down some really deep rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But it's like anything. People go online and they look for those validators, people who speak what they're looking for.
Yeah.
It's really emotional manipulation. It's no different than the preacher speaking to it.
Bias, confirm their bias.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah.
So if you're a lonely man and you're mad at women because you are lonely, you will find the manosphere, the red pill that men go their own way, circle. If you are angry at black men, you will find the divestors and folks who say black men are trash and we need to get with the zaddies.
Yeah. Before you even get to the search, that's what's presented to you. That's the smoke. Like, I don't engage. Like, I try my best never, ever to engage in any of the male-female things because it's so toxic. Anywhere you come in on there, you're just going to be. There's no way to even participate.
No doubt.
If as a man, if you agree with any one of the points that the sisters might have, you're suddenly a simp. You're a simp. and then as a brother, if you feel like the brothers have at least a right to state their case, that's enough. You already the Messiah. You already the problem.
Right.
So I'm just like, I just run from that shit as fast as I can.
Right.
And try to act like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And if you're a woman who says anything halfway decent about men, you're a pick-me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
very extremist.
The smoke screen.
Yeah.
Well,
but what I would say,
it's the worst perpetuans of white culture. Sorry, brother.
I just want to make one last. Just let me make one last point because and this is I'm saying you remind what I would say what you're like is you are like a guy with a strong mind going through a bad acid trip. You know what I mean? It's like you're like these are not worms. That's, you know what I mean? Like, no, there are not snakes crawling all over the place. This is bullshit. You just stick to your guns with the rational analysis and as it's coming to you, because I'm seeing how you are going through all these topics, and even on the ones that I, don't necessarily ride all the way with you, I see that you're saying consistent within your own logic, and that personal integrity is what makes me able to like, okay, let me look at this, so he can drink the water and not go crazy. Yeah. Maybe I can step a little closer to the fire.
Right. Man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just want to thank you right there. Okay.
Thank you too.
Thanks, brother Tony.
Tony from Oakland.
Peace.
Hey, Oaktown 357.
Ashe, bro. Hotel.
At 9:22 p.m., we got our first caller.
First call.
Tony, you are immortalized in the pantheon of politics and bullshit.
So 5 more callers and our show is ran through.
Leftover. Anything over 5, you're leftover caller.
If we have more than 5 callers, our show has been ran through, and high-value men will no longer listen to us.
Shout out to Tony, man. Tony kept it real. He said, I don't know if I was tapped out or sold out. I don't even know.
Right. Well,
that's honest.
If you're still in Oakland, you tapped out until you get across the Bay Bridge and you in San Francisco. And you can go from San Francisco to Oakland for free. But you got to pay to go from Oakland to San Francisco.
Yeah.
They do the same thing in New York. You go from New York to Jersey.
Yeah, you bums.
Free. You come from Jersey to New York, they make you pay.
That's fucked up.
Ain't it?
That's fucked up.
Ain't it? Chicago ain't got no toll rolls.
And Golden State's in the finals tomorrow against the Boston Celtics.
Basketball.
Steph Curry.
Larry Bird.
But he no longer plays for Boston, but he's a legendary, iconic player from the Boston Celtics.
Taco.
He used to play. He's no longer with the team. I think he's on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jason Tatum. Yeah.
I don't know who that
Jason
is.
Tatum, Jaylen Brown, who signed to Donda Sports Agency, Boston Celtics. Marcus Smart, who's the Defensive Player of the Year. Al Horford.
Yeah, I'll let you think.
I'm not talking.
I'm lost.
I don't think our audience really cares about that shit. But
they might.
Golden State is playing in the finals tomorrow. So shout out to Tony. Shout out to
winning
Oaktown.
All the time.
E40 is always at the games. 40 water.
40.
Earl Stevens. He has his own wine, Mango Scotto. I had it one time. It was 17%. And I was buzzed.
Sick with it
records. Now it's Boss. It's a
E40
Boss Hog.
Federal.
Something.
It's the dump season. Niggas looking for a reason. It's like Thanksgiving. I did a dance routine to E40 Federal. But
sprinkle me, babe. Hey, it's the last 30 minutes, man.
All right. I appreciate that. We got
It's time for some bullshit, man.
Okay, let's. Oh, it's too.
These some very deep,
been the whole show.
Deep draining topics, man.
Okay,
I'm drained.
Let's talk about some serious issues. All this police atrocities and religious delusion.
There'll be two more police atrocities tomorrow. By the next time we have our show,
brother, I gotta ask you the most important question right now for every black person in the United States.
Let's go.
Every African descendant of slaves.
Let's do it.
Are you DL or Monique?
I'm Monique,
who you rocking with?
I'm rocking with Monique, man. I'm rocking with Monique. If I had to pick, I'm rocking. First of all, I don't remember the last time D.L. Hughley made me laugh. I think he's corny. He was good on Comic View, but that was the 90s. He's not that funny. And he was, and Monique said a point. She said, I was the headliner for the Queens of Comedy Tour. You were the opener for the Kings of Comedy Tour. We are not the same. So I'm down with Monique, man. He tried to, and what I didn't like about what D.L. Hughley said, even though, you know, anytime you go on social media, it gets messy, you know. But what he did is he tried to, he posted a picture of Precious. He said that you are the living embodiment of that character. And he did the angry black woman trope. That's coon shit to me, man. So I got to ride with Monique. She said that there was an agreement that she was going to be the headliner, and she was not. And she said, I'm not an opener for nobody. I'm the headliner. I close. I don't open. And there were some, you know, discrepancies of contracts that were signed, not signed. The only dig that I have about Monique is that she was repping the big girls. She had the big girls feeling good about themselves. And then all of a sudden she turned around and lost all that weight, man. Hypocritical.
I have to say I'm DL.
Why are you pro DL, man?
I don't like DL as a person.
Okay.
I don't like his politics.
No doubt.
He's an integrationist. He's a status quo Negro. I don't like his politics.
And he's doing all that liberal woke shit now, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm pro woke. Very pro woke.
You're pro liberal woke?
I think those things are contradictions. I don't think you can be a woke liberal.
I feel like he finds the middle ground in positions.
Right. He's an integrationist.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I support being woke, and I hate that white racists have contaminated the meaning of that.
But why are you pro DL in this argument?
Because number one, I think that strictly from the incident, I think DL has a stronger position for that incident. As people, I don't know either one of them.
Yeah.
I don't rock with either one of them. But when DL showed his evidence, it seems as though, based on what I've seen from that conflict, that this was an issue with the promoter and the promotion company. And I even looked on the promotion company. I forget the name of it, but I went to the website of the promotion company. And it seems that the promotion and the negotiation that went on in the back room, Monique made some accusations that she didn't back up.
Okay.
She said that DL went to the promotion company and said that she's not Dave Chappelle. She said that he threatened not to go on unless he headlined. She had a document that was written by her husband that stated that she should be the headliner, but there was no real solid corroboration that the promoters and everyone else had agreed to that.
Got you.
DL did show several points. His writer, his memo, and the promotional materials. So it also appears that when Monique showed up at the venue, the tickets, the promotional material, everything had DL as the headline.
As the headline.
And she claims she only learned at that very moment.
Got you.
Like she didn't follow the promotional materials and all that. Also, DL's mother was in the audience to see her son.
She was?
Do his show.
I didn't know that.
And she got on there and said DL stands for down low and made a crass joke about him having anal sex. She said that his wife is sucking the dick of a coward.
Whoa.
And
wow.
How you supporting Monique and you don't know what she said?
You know what? Because she's gone against people that I don't like. I don't like Tyler Perry. I don't like Oprah.
I don't like any other people.
Charmander the guy. I don't like Steve Harvey's suit.
Here's the thing about Monique.
And Netflix. She's going against the corporations.
Here's the thing about Monique, though. Monique exhibits the same behaviors as the very people she claims to attack.
Yeah.
This egocentric system. The reason she was mad at Netflix is because Netflix didn't give her the millions of dollars she wanted.
That she wanted. Yeah.
It had nothing to do with the dignity of people. And this is what I hate about wealthy black people. They only identify racism when it hurts them,
when it hurts their pockets.
Them economically.
Yeah. Anytime you hear Puff Daddy talking that black power stuff, it's about
exactly
him trying to get
same
a piece,
thing with Ice
a piece
Cube,
of a pie.
Same thing with Ice Cube.
Ice Cube was trying to lead a political revolution and make sure the Democrats and the Republicans were doing something for the black vote. Shout out to Foundational Black Americans. Shout out to ADOS. Our justice claim, reparations.
Talk crazy.
Political organization.
Right.
We talk about black people not politically organizing all the time. These brothers are out here, brothers and sisters are out here, natives to this country, organizing for their justice claim.
Right. So,
shout out.
Monique's claim to fame is that she's been in this game for 30 years.
Been in this game for years.
30
wrote me
years.
A manual. Yeah.
She said she's been a headliner. She's been at the forefront. Yeah. All that for 30 years.
I am the queen of comedy.
Has anybody ever thought, even on the most superficial level, Monique is a voice or a representative for black women or black people in specifically or in general or black women? She always claims she's a champion of the people. But the only time I hear her championing the people when she's using our people or black women specifically as a tool or an instrument to advance her personally.
Yeah, her fan base.
And she's not the only one. She's not the first. Yeah. She's not going to be the last. But I don't like.
You're saying that she's not
this
woman of the people that she proclaims to be.
Right.
Gotcha.
So let's say I'm doing business just now. My track record for organizing and being there and advocating and struggling and organizing for the black community have always been there, right? And let's say tomorrow, me and my man Chauncey trying to do a deal.
Yeah.
That ain't got shit to do with the people. They ain't got shit to do with organizing, ain't got shit to do with empowerment of our people. It's strictly to put some money in our pockets, which we got to eat.
Yeah.
Then the deal goes sour.
Yeah.
Somebody snitching. And then I come out to the people talking about, look how they do black people.
Look how they do us.
I don't like that.
That's how Marion Barry did it.
I don't like that shit. When I'm speaking for the people, I'm representing the people, I'm acting on behalf of the people, and I run into trouble, then I can justly say, hey, the community needs to rally around me.
Yeah.
But if it's something individual that ain't got shit to do with the people, and the only time I ever call the people's name is when I got some trouble, but I see the people going through. Because I ain't seen the Monique on the front lines of no marches. I ain't seen her take the front.
She's in the back.
Her platform and celebrity to speak to any of our issues, but she got the nerve to call for a boycott.
Call for the boycotts of Netflix
because she didn't get money in her pocket.
She didn't get paid.
So I have an issue with that. But D.L. Hughley has done that too. He tried to speak up for black people, going all the way back to the Amadou Diallo case. Police brutality, and he would speak it, but a lot of these celebrities worrying about lining their own pockets, and they weaponize black people's suffering for their own personal economic
interest. It's the entertainer's job to keep their name in the public, whether it's bullshit or not. Like, that's their job.
But again, you don't begin to exploit our people.
Hey, man, I was told on the internet to trust black women, so I'm riding with Monique. The internet said it. If it's on the internet, then that means it's real.
What she got on that stage and said.
Maybe I read it and I forgot. But I didn't know. But I did not know his mother was there.
Yeah, she was in the audience.
That's
her boy.
That's whack.
And she talked very graphically about that man's sexuality.
He talked about his wife.
She said
you bring it in his family.
Over a contract dispute.
Yeah, that's corny.
Yeah,
that's corny.
And then she starts to talk about black women. I ain't heard they trying to take away black women's reproductive rights. I ain't heard her mention Sandra Bland. She talks about whenever something wrong happens to her personally, she acts like it's an affront to black women.
Black people, black women.
But when she's doing good,
she weaponizes her identity.
Like she did play
most of these bourgeoisie Negroes do.
A pedophile child abuser. She got the Oscar for. And then there's this article that I read.
She got an Oscar for that?
Yeah, she got an Oscar for the role she played in.
That's right. She did get an Oscar for it.
You ever see Precious?
Okay, I'll tell you the truth. There were a couple of when I saw the preview of Precious running with the bucket of chicken, and they had like a slow roll, camera roll to one of the pieces of chicken falling on the ground, I said, I'm not watching that, man. That was my bottom line. Like, come on, man.
I sat down.
She's stealing chicken, and we watching her drop chicken on the sidewalk. Come on, man.
I sat down to watch that movie. My wife got up after about 15 minutes and left the room. I watched the entire movie. You ever heard of a movie called...
you won't watch Love Jones, but you watched Precious.
Yeah, I had to see it. It was such a phenomenon. Everybody was talking about it. All the media icons. Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, all the top... You know, it was before Black Panther. It wasn't a bigger black movie phenomenon since The Color Purple. And I had to see what all the buzz was about.
Yeah, man.
And you ever heard of a movie series called The Eternal Jew?
She just got married, by the way.
Who?
Gabrielle.
Who?
Forget her last name.
To a white boy. Giving all
love
that
is love.
melanin.
Love is love. She found her a white melanin. King. Shout out to Gabby.
Yeah,
she found her zaddy.
I get in trouble because people. I still say that you can be pro-black with a white spouse. People want to say. I was called to give an interview, and they were like, the topic was, can you be pro-black married to outside the race? And I said yes.
Yes.
And the only reason I say yes is because the evidence supports that. And the two white women, it was one brother and two white. It was a sister show.
Yeah.
And she had a male co-host and a female co-host. And the two sisters said, I'm with a white woman.
Well, how wrong they were.
I didn't even dispute them because I just wanted to live that fantasy of a black man. Because Nick Cannon said it's an accomplishment to have a white woman because there was a time where we would be lynched if we had a white woman on our
Nick
arm.
Cannon said that?
So it is evidence of our freedom and how far we have come as a people if a black man can have a white woman on his arm.
The dream of the slave.
That's what Nick Cannon said. So I didn't dispute him when they were like, oh, well, you listen to this brother. He laying with a white. He got a snow bunny at home. I didn't even say nothing.
First of all, Nick Cannon has about 15 kids. He's out here making it happen. He's being fruitful. He's multiplying.
He did an anti-abortion song called "Can I Live." Nobody
did
ever.
He?
Yeah, he was.
All I know is that he said something about he was on his canon class talking about Jewish people.
Yeah.
And they took his show and they had him doing the shuck and jive for about a year.
He had to Judaism.
He had to go on the apology tour.
My grandfather was a Jew. And I'm like, well, Judaism is matrilineal. So having a Jewish
he was talking about
grandfather
melanin.
Doesn't infer.
He said the non-melanated people were evil. And he was going in.
And he got spanked.
They snatched his show. They had him donating to all type of causes.
Same thing Ice Cube did. Ice Cube did worse. He went and spoke at a Zionist far right wing.
I remember
rally.
that.
Yeah. So
a lot of our black celebrities have gone into Zionism and have performed for Israel. Concerts
Whitney
in Israel.
Houston and Bobby Brown.
They did?
They took a pilgrimage. They were messing around with Hebrew Israelites.
They might have had the purest cocaine out there, man. They said, Whitney, we got the purest shit known to man.
Is a known drug trafficking.
And Whitney was with it.
Yeah, well,
because people like to always talk about how Bobby got Whitney on it. No, Whitney got Bobby on it.
Yes, and Whitney's family her brothers they were like, when we got with Bobby,
like Bobby was probably just they stepped it up.
Here's the thing: Whitney grew up upper middle class, bourgeois.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby grew up in the projects.
Yeah, he grew up in the Boston projects.
And bourgeois Negroes are much more carnal than poor Negroes.
Oh, no doubt.
I went to public school when I was growing up. When I got to high school, I had a well-to-do aunt who paid my tuition to go to private school.
Shout out to that aunt, man. Making it happen for you. Does she believe in God?
She's spiritual.
Okay.
She reads those books like sentient machine books. She believes that her consciousness is eternal and will manifest itself after her passing, but she doesn't believe in God in a traditional sense.
Okay.
So, but she's got some wild ideas. She's like 90. So
shout out to her, man.
Yeah, shout out to her.
90.
Anyway, when I got to that private school,
and
I got mad people that went to school with me, that I'm connected to on social media. Don't make me 6ix9ine, y'all. No, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Diallo bringing it back.
Don't make me snitch, y'all.
He said bring the
them
60.
Children of lawyers, of black lawyers.
Oh man.
Children of black doctors. Children of union
Black
auto workers. Yeah. Children of black and the black mayor's son went there. He was an upperclassman, but the black mayor's son went there. I never saw such debauchery, such use of drugs and other illicit material, such underage drinking, speeding, and reckless driving. I never saw
gone wild
such worldliness until I attended a predominantly black private school.
It was cracking.
And my whole life, I thought
it was like an HBCU.
It was the poor black folks in the projects. I thought it was us unruly.
We're just on welfare and buying crab legs.
When my aunt paid tuition and my grandmother woke me up and put me in that Catholic school uniform, it's like, don't you go in that school and embarrass us.
Yeah. Talking that shit.
Coming from East Hills Village housing project. I mean, by my sophomore year, I was the only sophomore, junior, and senior catching the bus to school. I was still getting off the bus with the freshmen. Until my homie Chet his mama got him a car and he would give me a ride. We
got one more bullshit topic before we get out of here.
And I thought Team Monique, Team DL.
Yeah, I mean
Team Justified.
I can't
Team
wait to
Unjustified.
All the,
But yeah, I think Monique was out of pocket. But I hate this because I'm not a fan of Dia. I don't like his politics.
I didn't know the mom was there.
Neither one of them are actually funny to me.
That kind of changes how I feel about this.
Yeah, it just seems like she took it out on him.
She did.
Tori Holcomb says she didn't have material.
That's why she said, I'm going for broke.
But yeah, and she tries to set herself apart, talking about she was blackballed. And she tries to set herself apart from Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey and Lee Daniels. And now she tries to, but I think she has the same black elite, black bourgeoisie mentality and ambitions as they do. And she was truly in opposition to them.
No doubt.
Because those are some horrible people. Oprah, Tyler Perry, they are some black bourgeoisie, Uncle Tom Handkerchief head Negroes, right?
Yeah.
But soon as she start getting them power checks from 50 Cent, guess what she gonna morph into?
Right, no doubt.
And guess how she gonna start moving?
No doubt.
She tries to be a woman of the people, but I think she's exploiting. That's my conclusion. I could be wrong.
We got one more topic, man.
What's the next topic?
And I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a topic that I'm perplexed as to why this has been popular discourse in the past.
I'm looking
first don't even say it, man. Don't even go there.
I thought you dressed for the occasion.
Don't even go there, man.
I thought you dressed for the occasion.
Out of here, man. Get
what
out of
are you
here.
Talking about?
I do not have on no Hoochie Daddy shorts.
The first day I saw you, I thought you were dressing as a demo. I thought this was going to have visual aids. You ever had a school assignment?
Where
the teacher's you get extra credit for visual aid today.
I'm
going to give you an
because
extra
I wear
credit
clothes that fit.
For visual
I don't have
aid.
any baggy khakis on. No,
you extra credit.
No, if you look at you look at the pictures of the Hoochie Daddy shorts. These dudes are wearing.
You didn't even say what the new topic was.
It's Hoochie Daddy shorts.
That's
for some reason, black people, black men and women alike, have been having a war around should men wear Hoochie Daddy shorts.
And in case you didn't know, in case you don't know what that looks like.
Pull it up.
Brother Biddle was kind enough.
Get the
you ain't got on shorts?
I have on khaki shorts. They go to my knee, brother.
This is the first day
they go to my knee.
This is the first day you've worn shorts.
You know, it's summertime. Why am I wearing
summer
pants?
Yet.
Why am I wearing? I'm not.
Till
no,
summer.
No. In Wisconsin, you get 2 months.
Okay, you reconsider. I still appreciate you being brave enough to bring us.
I am not wearing. I'm not wearing Hoochie Daddy shorts. All right. If you look at the Hoochie Daddy shorts,
what is the appropriate length? I'm not gonna be policed.
I don't care. Why?
I'm not gonna be shamed.
If you want to dress like that, dress like that, man. What is with all these declarations?
This don't seem like
just do you. That's not. No, you're not pulling up the right shorts, brother. I'm talking shorts up to the pelvic area.
I saw. Where's the one picture all the ladies been sharing? this dude, this guy, is that bad?
Man, go on Twitter. Go on Twitter and put in the search function Hoochie Daddy Shorts.
Okay. Let's do that. Because I don't know. I wear shorts above the knee.
These are shorts like up to the hip meat, man. Brothers are out here looking like bad chicks, like city girls. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, man. Why is this a debate? It reminds me of when brothers was wearing rompers. Remember the romper craze 3-4 years ago?
I didn't see brothers in them. I didn't see it. Did you see like?
I saw some brothers wearing rompers. Yes, man.
I didn't see it.
Flowers on them.
I saw people talking about it.
Man,
it's just people making fun.
No, man, it's brothers out here like taking pictures of themselves.
That don't show the
Hoochie
shorts.
Daddy shorts. That's not. Keep going.
Now come on. That's from the 70s.
Keep going. I'm telling you, there are brothers out here doing photo shoots of themselves in Hoochie Daddy shorts.
Carl Weathers. People just making fun.
No, I saw some brothers.
Does that qualify? Does this qualify?
Yeah.
That seems like a reasonable length.
Hashtag.
That seems like a reasonable length.
That's the hashtag. I didn't understand why is this conversation? Why are you having so much conversation about this?
Because the ladies love it. Is this for the ladies, right?
I assume so. Or the men, however you swing.
I'm gonna.
I don't really have it, but after the milk crate challenge, I don't really have any expectations anymore. When people were climbing milk crates and falling down and hurting themselves,
because I ain't got swag like that. But I don't see the problem.
If it was RBG, would you wear it?
Nah, matchy. That's just not my style. Look at this dude. Come on. I think this is one of those phenomena.
I thought it was funny. At first, it was funny, and then I kept seeing so much conversation around it. I was just like,
I am a.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Wearing, right? That's appropriate. That's what you toxic.
That's back when we were men. When we were men. When men were our shit going to our shins. Yes.
I would like to say, brothers,
be free.
Exactly.
Be free.
Regardless of what Brother Biddle says.
I didn't say not to be free. I said I didn't understand.
Shaming?
I didn't understand the hoopla. I'm not shaming. If people want to be free and live their best lives, it's summertime. Folks are finna get out here getting frisky, getting numbers, doing their thing. If they single, dude, live your life, man.
There's this really inexpensive clothing store called Primark. Right?
Yeah.
And my son would come through with like these anime and graphic t-shirts and hoodies that had Primark on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what it was. I thought he was like ordering. I had no idea what Primark was.
Okay.
I go to Old Navy, Gap, Target. And so I was with my other son in Jersey. They got like this super mall in Jersey, like this huge mall that has like a ski slope in it.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff. And they had a Primark in there. And I went in there. I'm like, wow, this is where my son shot. Because I remember seeing Primark on his. So I got a couple of shorts from Primark.
Yeah.
And I washed them and they shrunk. And I ain't one that I don't turn down nothing but my collar. I still wear them shorts.
Okay.
And my son stopped shopping at Primark. Hater ass, because I'm buying and he don't want.
Is this the same son you didn't? And you didn't help with boxes?
My wife was like, they got a Primark downtown by where I work. And so I found one downtown. So he doesn't go to Primark anymore because he sees that I think I have a Primark.
Yeah, he don't want to wear what his dad's wearing.
Oh, he needs to cover up his labels.
He said, if I'm shopping where my dad's shopping, I'm doing something wrong.
I guess.
I'm not cool enough.
Yeah.
I got to go somewhere else.
But I'm going to do my shorts, man. And I ain't trying to follow no trends, but you know how hot it gets here.
It gets really hot. That's what I'm saying.
Just last week, it was. So your problem is people discussing the Hoochie Daddy, the phenomenon, sisters enjoying themselves. You got a problem with sisters enjoying themselves.
Sometimes I'm miffed at the type of things that catch fire,
that go viral.
I'm just miffed. I'm just like,
well,
how is this a big deal?
How many summers?
Gay men have been wearing them shorts for a long time. Like, this ain't a new phenomenon.
How many summers have y'all talked about the sundress?
Because it's worthy to be. It's worthy of praise.
Every summer,
sundress season is worthy of praise.
Every summer.
Every summer.
Every summer.
We look forward to it. I got a calendar, and I X down the days.
Right.
Sundress season.
But then the sisters can't talk about shorts.
Sisters can talk. I was more so discussed about the brothers talking about it.
What were the brothers saying?
I'm telling you, there's a lot of brothers just modeling their hoochie daddy shorts. And I was just like, okay.
But they
another fad.
But sisters get to post themselves, their selfies and their summer flex.
No doubt.
Summer bodies or whatever.
God bless them. They're highly blessed and highly favored.
Double standard.
I never said it wasn't.
Toxic masculinity.
As we wind down.
Where's its head?
It was our first show to 10 o'clock. As we wind down.
Yeah, my wife's calling me. I don't think I told her we going.
See, look at you, man. Communication.
Can I ride home with you? You got to pull out couch.
Politics and Bullshit every Wednesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Q4 Radio, Instagram, Twitter, Politics XBS, Facebook, Politics and BS.
Shout out to Tony,
YouTube,
our first caller.
Politics and Bullshit. Tony from Oaktown.
When we get some merch,
9:22 p.m. He's been immortalized. We're gonna make a bronze bust.
We gotta
of
send
you,
him
man.
something. When we get some merch, we're gonna send him something. It's being
Shout out to Tony,
caller.
man.
We've only had one caller, so our show is still pure.
And
it's still a high value show until we reach 5
and we
callers.
keep increasing our audience because I think they appreciate the conversation and we appreciate your support. So thank you.
So enough. All right. And
now it's time to get on the road.
Where's the music?
It's time to get on the road, man.
I forgot what music I was playing.
I don't know.
So
it was loud.
We can't leave without the outro.
Then play the outro.
I'll just play what we played last week.
We should get DJ remix.
I don't. Oh, some dude offered some music.
You be holding on to the good information. Hold it out, man.
I gotta. All right. Get over here.
We appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Like, have a good rest of the week.
All right. Q4 Radio. Politics and Bullshit.